Thank you for being back on, brother. When I was opening the door for you, I was like, oh, you got so dressed up just for me. You look so nice. You were telling me about like how people were giving you shit.
Yeah, last time I wore like a wrinkled shirt and Todd Fox had sent me a steamer in the mail, I guess making fun of me. So I made sure my shirt was not wrinkled today.
You could have wore a gi. I would have joined you in that endeavor.
We should do that.
Next time.
Next time.
I'll bring my pink belt. Dude, I appreciate you being back on. The last time we had you on, we were talking about like the local dramas of the time. Fortunately and unfortunately, things are a little bit died down. They're not as
no one wants to
beat me up or beat you up.
Yeah, that's good.
What was did you guys ever have any closure? This is the only question I'll ask about this is between you and Josh. Did you guys have any closure with that, or did it just like simmer down on its own over time? Did you have a conversation with him?
No, not really. It went away.
Yeah.
I was like, he's trying to set up a fight. And he thought I was joking. I was like, well, I can only fight like 205 or something. He's like, he thought I was lying. I was like, no, I really weigh like 200 pounds.
This is where I'm at. Dude, so I want to say I've had conversations with you like kind of off the record about bringing in my daughter for jiu-jitsu classes. And I actually wanted to ask, this is what I wanted to start with the podcast with, is at what age do you think like martial arts starts to become an option for kids? Because like I think there's like 2, 3, they're kind of like too little. Am I incorrect? Like I mean, like what really are they gonna pick up? But I think 4, 5, 6, like these are good ages to start to like put them in those waters, having swim around.
I mean, I'm not like an expert on kids, but just like from we used to make it 5, and then like some 4-year-olds kind of asked, and they paid very good attention. So when they say 3, I'm like, oh, wait till they're 4, because some 4-year-olds seem like they can put it together, and they're more with it than some 8-year-olds. So
Everybody's different.
And when you tell me guess kids' age from like 5 to 9, I don't even know. So I'm like, I kind of.
Kirk's like, I don't know. They always look like 4-year-olds
People
to
ask
me.
how old my niece is. I'm like, I'm pretty sure she's 8.
How is the gym doing, man? You guys seem busier. You guys, the kids program is growing. I see a little bit more on like the social media aspect. I'm just curious, like, how's the gym doing?
It's good. We've broken the kids up into 3 different groups. So we have like the 4 to 7-ish beginners class, and we have 7 to 12 a little older beginners class, and we have an advanced class. And some kind of do both. And there's like, I say there's a really big 8-year-old. We try to match them with the best we can, but we've had to divide it up in like 3 groups.
God bless. That's a good problem to have, right?
Yeah, kids. There's more kids than I want to say. We probably have 40, 50 kids.
Wow. Really?
I'm guessing.
Congratulations, dude.
Yeah, that worked out.
I was actually just talking to Court, and one of the things I was telling him was like, my daughter turns 4 in September, and I was having the conversations with you, like, hey, I think once she turns 4, I told my wife that it doesn't really matter if my daughter wants to do jiu-jitsu or anything like that, or if she wants to compete in martial arts. That's not the goal. My daughter will not have an option of being able to defend herself through grappling, though. Like, she will learn the base minimums of how to defend herself in case she gets older and whatever have you happens. I want her to be able to at least wrestle properly and grapple effectively to defend herself. Like, that's a non-negotiable for me as a father.
I don't have a kid, but I have a niece, and I was like the same thing. And she's like a girl, loves the Barbies and everything, but like she has to do it. And she did her first tournament, and her second match, she broke her finger.
Oh, really?
And she came back though.
Oh, really? So at 8 years old, she broke her finger and then still finished the competition.
She came back to jiu-jitsu.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, like,
but
damn,
I
that
put
is
it back
badass.
then. No, she was getting off the mat and it crunched under her. And I was like, that's the end of jiu-jitsu. But she came back. So
Oh, you were worried that she would be like...
I thought she'd be done.
But she's not. She came
No,
back.
she came back.
How long did she need for the recovery? Like a couple months?
I think it was like 6 or 8 weeks, and it was the middle of summer, and it was school year, and she started back in the summer. So
Gotcha.
she took a few.
Were you kind of like, whoo, when she came back? Like, thank God?
Yeah, because I thought that was it.
That was going to be it. Now, niece, that means it's brother, sister?
It's my sister's.
Older, younger?
My older sister.
Sister, gotcha.
Yeah.
And forgive me for asking this, but is it just you two? Do you guys have additional
Nope,
siblings?
just me and my sister.
Gotcha. And so then when she gave you her one child, she's trusting you with her
Well,
child.
she has another kid, but he's nonverbal autistic, and he's kind of he couldn't put like jiu-jitsu together.
How old is he?
I think he is 12.
12 years old. So okay, actually the daughter's the younger one.
Yeah.
How is that? Forgive me for asking this, but when you say like nonverbal autistic, like, are there classes for that? Are there like additional support systems to try to like make that better? How does that work?
As far as like his traditional school,
Yeah, like traditional.
he's in like
schooling and upbringing?
specialized programs within the school district. So like at school, he goes to like a special class for. And both his parents, I think both his parents work in like special needs at the schools.
Oh wow! So
Yeah.
at least they're close by him as well.
Yeah.
It's I want to be careful how I say this to protect their anonymity, but I have a person that I know who their child is nonverbal, or at the very least like communicates in like noises, not
Yeah.
words. You know what I mean?
He lets it. Every now and then he'll say a word too.
Yeah. Okay, this is how this kid is as well.
Yeah.
And for the longest time, like the parents, he's I think like 5 years old now, or getting close to 5. The parents kind of were not like accepting it. Does that make sense? Like they're like, oh, he's just a late bloomer.
Denial or
Yeah,
something,
denial.
yeah.
Yeah. And I think now what we did was we kind of just like created a space where we're like, hey, like we're not judging. Like this is things that can happen. Like it's no respect to you guys. Like, but you do have to kind of see this so that you can start to put things in place for your kid.
Yeah, I'm
And-
sure it's hard. I've never been in those shoes,
Yeah.
but I'm sure it's hard.
It's also easy for me to say. Let me say that.
I don't know the proper term, like traditionally developing kids, or I'm sure it's hard to come to that realization.
The reason I bring that up is once they like kind of opened up a little bit, they got like a speech therapist for their kid.
Yeah.
Noticeable difference.
Yeah, I'm bet.
Noticeable difference to the point where I was like, dude, like I hate to say it this way, but if we would have just gotten to this point a little earlier, who knows what other ground we could have broken before then. But at the end of the day, it's like resources exist. Take advantage of them. You know what I mean? Use them. But it's, once again, easy for me to say.
Yeah, I think that one of the things is like when you realize something's going on, medicines they try, because I think some don't want to put their kid on whatever medicine, and sometimes it may be a solution, sometimes not. Sometimes I think,
Dude, we
they
don't
go-
fucking know, man. I'll tell you this, as a father, it scared the shit out of me with my daughter with vaccines.
Yeah.
Because like when my daughter was getting to the point to start taking vaccines, like that's when the RFK Jr. stuff was coming into my domain, and I was like starting to be like, oh my God, how much like you're in this position where you're damned if you do, damned if you don't as a parent, like even to the medications. Like if I don't get my daughter vaccinated, right, and she develops something, that's on me. Like I failed as a father.
Yeah.
But if I do vaccinate her and then like she develops some other thing, that's on me. Like I'm like damned if I do, damned if I don't. It puts me in this weird position.
what I feel like I've noticed is like, okay, the COVID vaccine was like questionable. There are a lot of questions. Now there's people have gone to like anti-vax that they're just like, we don't need the polio vaccine, or then there's all the conspiracies about vaccines. And I'm just like, I don't know. I feel like some have been proven over time.
Yeah, but then I'm with you. But then my response to that is the burden of proof is on the accuser, right?
Yeah.
And then the accusations for their detrimental characteristics is there. Like you can say that there is some supporting documentation. Now, does correlation equal causation? No. But the real red flag in all of this is like you can correlate, the increase of like autism, nonverbal, and all these other things with these inventions of vaccines and how they seem to be correlated in terms of growth. But that doesn't necessarily mean they're the cause. But what's the red flag is if you try to do like the age-old quote from RFK Jr. is like a double-blind placebo test, or like real intricate like deep dives into these vaccines are like prohibited. They'll say that these vaccines are safe and effective. They don't know that. They're telling you something that they've never tested. That's like me telling you I'm about to sell you this car and you're like, how does it drive? And I'm like, oh, it's great, but I've never gotten in it and turned on the engine. How would I know?
Yeah.
So like I'm making a comment that I can't substantiate. And that's the thing is like they say like vaccines are safe and effective. All you have to ask is, how do you know that? They don't have an answer. They don't know because they've never done the test, because they've been prohibited to. And that's my red flag. So am I saying that they cause these problems? My answer is I don't know.
Yeah.
But what I am saying is I'd like to know. Like, I'd like for there to be tests. All I want to do is know. And if it is the case, then stop using them and figure out other ways. And if it's not the case, then at least we know for forever. Like, we know for all time.
Yeah, and one of the most common arguments is you say that, and they're like, well, autism's on the rise so much, right? Is it? Because we go back a few centuries, and, like, you can think of people you grew up with. Like, in hindsight, that kid was probably autistic.
Yeah.
Like, there was something kind of like, I remember one kid I went to high school, he always walked around on his toes. I'm like, why does that kid walk around on his toes so much? In hindsight, he probably was autistic.
I think it's incentives, right? So, like, I think two things. You're correct. I think I will give the ground where our ability to recognize autistic behavior has increased. So, like, if the tools for recognizing it are getting better, then obviously you're going to get more of it. But I would also say that the exponential growth is, like, slightly incentive based for the medical industry as well, specifically in states like California for the AIDS, right? So, like, that's the thing. When you're creating, it's one thing to get better at recognizing it. It's different for incentivizing recognizing it.
Oh, if there's a problem, the industry's going to capitalize. Like,
Yeah.
Or even if there's not a problem, they'll make a problem.
Exactly. And I think that's you get some of that too. Like, I don't want to say like how many people have been diagnosed with autism that don't have it, but
Everyone thinks they're autistic now, though. It's like,
I don't know if everyone thinks they're autistic.
everyone thinks like, oh, you know how many times people say, oh, this autistic trait?
Tis the tism, sir.
Yeah, like, I don't like air hitting me like driving. Like, oh, that's because you're autistic. I'm like, maybe, but I mean, maybe I just don't like air hitting me too. Or like people that don't like certain foods in their mouth. It's like because I'm autistic. I'm like, maybe just that little sensory thing you don't like. That doesn't make you autistic.
Is this like a common conversation you're having with people? They're calling you autistic.
Yeah, all the time. I don't like eye contact too much sometimes, but like.
Well, that's the
or
other
you
thing.
do jujitsu. I'm like, like you need to be touched more or something.
Now I know how to like get in your head. If I ever roll with you, I'll be like on bottom or on top, and I'm just gonna look right into your eyes.
Maybe.
No, I think there's something to be said about like the social aspect of it. Perhaps being
you get
correlated.
to you get to be a part of a little tribe. If you're like, oh, I have these issues, and like, oh, so do I have Facebook groups.
Yeah.
People like to go in Facebook groups and complain about things and be in a little echo chamber of other people, and then they get to be like in a little group.
Do you think that's something that's kind of a weird group to want to be a part of, though? Don't you think?
I think people like to be a part of something, even if it's
Like bad, not bad. I
wouldn't say it's bad, but anything like, okay, alcoholics, like they join AA and they're a part of a little community,
or they don't.
Yeah, or they do podcasts.
I've never been called autistic. I do want to ask is like, when you make this, I don't want to say it's an assumption. I believe it's an observation. Where do you think that stems from? This need to want to be in groups, even if it's like seen as a possibly detrimental group? Because I don't disagree. Tribal, but even to their own detriment. Like I want to be a part of the group that's like.
I think being lonely is like the worst. So it's like, say you're struggling with, I don't know, anything. You'd like to relay that message to someone else that can talk to you about it. And people like to be in groups if it's, and negative things get you attention too. So say you're in a Facebook group and you're like, oh man, I overeat pizza all the time. I'm a fat piece of shit. Some other person back, I'm a fat piece of shit too. Like,
We're together.
We're together. Whatever it is. If it's like really negative behavior, like dogs even, like they do negative things for attention. So people like attention and they don't like to be lonely.
You know what else I think, now that we're talking about this, like, that kind of perfectly simulates this, is the transgender movement. Because I felt like for like 2 or 3 years there, it was like, maybe it's because I coached high school wrestling, so like I was like acutely aware of like high schoolers.
Yeah.
But like I remember when I was in high school, people were just like predominantly like gay or lesbian. Like if they weren't hetero, they were like homosexual, right? And I felt like for 2 or 3 years there, they were confusing. I believe transgenderism is a real thing. It's existed since antiquity. Like, I'm not saying that that's not a thing. But what I am saying is that, like, the movement of transgenderism was kind of getting hijacked by what I think or what I suspect were, like, just homosexual kids or bisexual kids that were like, oh, I can kind of, I hate to say it this way, but like join the bandwagon. Like, this is the cool thing now.
Well, it's like popular in culture, right?
Yes. It was pop culture. Yes. Yeah. And it was like for 2-3 years and then like literally crickets.
Yeah. It's like, I agree. Like, people in those situations absolutely exist. But is there an element of people that it's in popular culture and they want to attach themselves to it? Maybe they have some mental things going on where they're very lonely, so they kind of like identify as this to be a part of something. I'm sure there's a percentage that happens.
Or just like it's a method of like timing. So like, I hate to say this, but like if you came out as gay in the 90s, that was a big deal. If you come out as gay today, it's like, okay, dude, whatever, like enjoy you. Yeah. But if you came out as transgender, now people are calling you brave. Now they're saying like, oh yeah, like live your truth and all these things.
Maybe it gives you attention, maybe.
Yeah, it gives you that attention. And I want to be careful how I say this because I'm not trying to come across as any way. Once again, I do think that this exists, that this is a thing, and it's always been a thing. I just don't think the numbers are correlated. When you see like, you know, numbers of transgender, and then like as soon as 2021, 22 hits, it's a vertical line up. Yeah. Even if we were getting better at recognizing transgenderism and the therapeutics or what have you, like medicine regarding that got better, you'd see like a gradual uptake, not a parabolic increase.
Yeah. Well, I guess the counter argument would be people are more comfortable coming out now, so it kind of opened the window. That'd be the counter argument. But
how many? Like, I guess that's my thing is like then the numbers. I agree with you. I'm sure a lot of people do, and I will say that I'm not sure if the movement hurt or helped itself, but I will say that at least my generation, our generation, is now like more accepting of it. So like I think there was ground gained, but at the same time, I'd be lying if I told you I also am now more skeptical. Yeah. So like, am I now more aware of transgenderism than I ever was before? Yes. But now when someone tells me they're transgender, I'm like, are you sure you're not just gay? Does that make sense? Yeah. Like, I almost have to question it. Like, are you sure you're transgender? Are you sure you're not just this? And like, you're just kind of like going to step 2 and maybe you're just at step 1.
I know when I coached high school girls wrestling, there was a girl that...
Same.
And they want to go by a different name. I said, hey, that's cool by me. You can go by it.
Yeah.
But all I'm asking you is, I'm going to make a mistake sometime. And just give me a little grace. I'm sorry, but at some point I'm going to make a mistake. And
you mean with like the name or the gender?
Yeah, it's cool. I'm like,
give me some ground.
Just give me some ground because, you know, I've known you as this for this long, and then the sudden change, I might make a mistake, and I'm sorry. I don't want you to be mad at me.
I think the effort is all that matters to them, though.
Yeah, and I don't even know what they go by now.
And mind you, like, I forget who it was, but it was like another podcaster who said this, so I'm kind of ripping it. It has nothing to do with, like, I will tell you that if you want me to call you ma'am or sir, I'm not a rude person. I'm not going to, like, go out of my way to become confrontational. Sure, whatever. I don't believe that was, like, the major pushback from it either. I think the only reason that movement got pushback wasn't because of what they were asking for, which was like, hey, just please respect what we feel. It was the demand of it. Yeah. That's what I think they got fucked up. Because here's the thing. If you, Kirk, were to ask me, hey, Aaron, I'd really prefer if we didn't talk about this. I'd be like, cool, man, we're not going to talk about it. But if you came in and we were like, hey, listen to me, you're not going to talk about this. Now I'm kind of like, hey,
why?
You're not going to tell me what I'm going to do. Like, I'm a grown man, you're a grown man. Like, we can have a discussion. Like, I'm going to be a little bit more confrontational because I, as an individual, don't enjoy when someone forces me into anything.
Right.
Go fuck yourself. I wouldn't force anything upon you. But if I asked you, yeah, sure, man. Like, I don't fucking care. I don't care enough to be confrontational about it.
In those situations, sometimes I want to know why you're so upset. Like, maybe I don't get it. Maybe there's something where I'm blind to that I would like to understand. Or maybe I just really disagree with you, which I can. I can still be your friend. And I'm like, dude, I don't agree with that at all. Or sometimes people have opened my eyes and be like, I kind of see your point. It took a while, and we kind of got mad at each other, but I kind of see your point now. Yeah. And I like opening my eyes back. Okay, maybe I was kind of naive or didn't perceive the situation maybe like they did.
But I agree 100% with you, but that goes back to my comment. Like, what you're really driving for is perspective. Like,
Yeah.
you're acknowledging that you're malleable. You've changed your mind on things based on data that's been presented. So what you're really saying is, I'm open to the conversation if you are.
Yeah.
But that's goes back to what I was saying. Is like, a lot of people weren't open to trying to change your perspective or have a conversation. They were trying to force it.
Right. Yeah.
And that's why I think there was a pushback. The reason why homosexuality now is like whatever, maybe I'm wrong. Like, this is my anecdotal. When I was a kid, being gay was like big. Like, oh my God, he's gay. Like, that's a big deal. Now does not matter. Literally, I've been to gay weddings. Like, I don't care. You know what I mean? But it took time to kind of change some of that nuance, and more than anything, change my perspective. Hey, Ariane, you love your wife, right? Yeah, well, do you know why you love your wife? I was like, a multitude of things. Like, well, I love my husband the same way, and I can't tell you. I'm like, okay, you know what? You got me on that one. I don't have a rebuttal to that. So I concede that ground. And I'm sure there are conversations with the transgender movement that I would concede ground to, but I'm not going to let you force me into that. You're going to have to take the time, take the nuance and the perspective-driven approach to change my mind, not force me to change my mind. Because then I'm going to tell you, go fuck yourself just out of principle. Even if it's like, I'll give you a prime example. Like, Ariane, you should eat your vegetables. Okay, I'll eat some vegetables. Ariane, you have to eat vegetables. Well, I'm going to go eat a steak now just to spite you.
But people have to have these conversations, difficult conversations.
I don't even think they're that difficult, unless you make them difficult.
I think if people are set in their ways, or they have a viewpoint that they can't see another person's viewpoint, which ultimately is like sometimes religion, right?
But that's the thing, is like, you can't go into conversations with the outcome of changing people's minds.
You just offer your perspective.
You just have to educate. Hey, you might never see eye to eye with me. You might not agree with my lifestyle, but I at least want you to understand why I do what I do. I'm not evil. I'm not stupid. I'm none of these things. This is how God made me.
Yeah.
And the whole religious aspect, actually, I think falls flat on its face for that same reason. If we're all created equal in the eyes of our Lord, and he creates us, if it's a perfect being creating imperfect creatures, he did that on purpose too.
Yeah, I agree with you.
You know what I mean? So like, even the religious argument, I've been swayed. You know what I mean? Yeah. Does God love all his creations equally? Yes. Yes, he does. And that is an absolute.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So just my 2 cents on that. So if you thought I was like anti-transgender before, now I'm on the boat. You know what? Maybe I'm autistic in a woman.
I'd say.
Oh, dude, I enjoy you. I've noticed that you've been competing a lot. I do want to ask, you know, at this point of your life, with the gym, with entrepreneurship, of like owning Arnold BJJ, with running that established business, you know, what is it that you're still trying to get out of competition? What is it that you're still trying to get out of Brazilian Jiu Jitsu as an individual competitor, as a coach, as an entrepreneur? Where is your life at today versus, you know, 5 years ago?
I wish I had a deep answer, but I don't. I like competing. I still enjoy it. I never understood why people say I'm trying to be a really good coach and help everyone. I don't think by stepping myself away from competition helps other people. Like, a perfect example is like ADCC, the open events got like bigger, and a lot of the younger generation wanted to do no-gi. I was like, well, I have to go do it, because there's a strategy with the points and the rules and everything. But I mean, I can watch it and try to figure out a strategy, but I want to go do it. I want to find out. In my first one, I had a terrible strategy. I lost to some people I'm better to. I'm like, okay, I got to play the game, the point, when the points come in. And as far as like entrepreneur, like, does me competing help bring in more people? Probably not. But like, I don't want to say, Ariane, we're going to go do this tournament, we're going to train really hard, then me not do it. Like maybe an example of like lead from the front, and you don't even have to compete, but like I don't want to remove myself from, I think jiu-jitsu is ever evolving and people are doing more things. And if I'm not there watching it, and all my students are doing it, and I'm not being a part of it, I do think it hinders the growth of my students.
So what you're saying if I'm understanding you correctly, is competition for you is almost a way, not almost a way, it is a way for you to maintain your growth both in the sport and outside of the sport, because the sport is changing. And that if you were to stop competing today, you could still watch jiu-jitsu and how it's changing.
Yeah, but I don't like watching it that much. It's boring.
Really? You're much more of like, I'd rather
I mean,
do
say
it than
like
watch
an
it.
event's coming on and there's a match that kind of excited me, but we're at Pans, the black belt finals are going on, and I love gi jiu-jitsu as much as anybody, and like I'm sitting there fucking on Instagram.
Really?
I mean, I like, okay, what's going on, but it's not a viewer-friendly sport. Gi jiu-jitsu is not viewer-friendly.
Well, okay, maybe I'm a little biased then, because I go to those CXBJJ shows from like Adam Sella. Now, here's the thing. My caveat is I'm not at these all-day tournament events where there's a bunch of people.
Know them. You know the people, right?
Yeah, I know a lot of. I know, like, if let's say there's like if Adam Meredith is doing because he's got his next Strange Hands that's coming up. So like, let's say that show that comes up, I'll go to that one. I will know half of them at this point. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So a lot of them I know, some of them I don't. But for me, I don't know if like I'm just like, maybe it's my tism. I enjoy watching grappling. I enjoy watching like wrestling. I enjoy watching gi and no gi jiu-jitsu. But I will also say that like I don't want to say like I'm an educated viewer, because obviously you're a black belt, so like you're an educated viewer too.
You've been around, you know.
Yeah, but I enjoy it because I know that like, ooh, just like a little knee slide here and that'll open up this thing. I just enjoy watching like the outcomes of what could be possible. Or someone does like, 5 steps correctly, and then the guy counters that last step that would have finished it, but he's able to get out. I'm like, ooh, like that's so cool. Like maybe it's just my way my brain is wired. I have no problem watching folk style, freestyle wrestling, gi, no gi jiu-jitsu, or MMA for both genders, by the way. Like grappling and combat are the only sports where I can watch women compete with the same fervency that I can watch men compete. Like I can't watch NBA and then watch WNBA and be like, oh, it's the same thing.
Caitlin Clark?
I do like Caitlin Clark, but I can't finish a WNBA. Sorry, guys, I'm going to sound like a misogynist here. I can't finish a WNBA game. I get it. You got a 3-pointer down. Awesome. You know what I mean? But like, it's not the same like in jiu-jitsu. Like a girl can hit a really legit armbar the same way a guy can. And because of weight classes and because of like the way the belt system works, it's very competitive. So like there's very rarely like these shutout moments. I will say that I do enjoy watching jiu-jitsu. Yeah. That being said, I'm not at these ADCC invitationals like all day from 8 a.m. till 8 p.m. watching every single match. I'm at an event for 3 hours, having some drinks, dabbing up the boys. So maybe that's also a variable.
Yeah, I'm literally there like every weekend.
Yeah, so maybe yours is
overload. And when I know, hey, I don't know all the people coming up. Sometimes like I'll be there with Mason. He's like, do you know this guy? He's killing it. I'm like, I've never heard that guy before in my life. But okay, but now I get to watch them and see what they do. And sometimes I don't understand it. I'm like, what is, like, I see he's doing something, but I don't understand it.
Really?
Yeah.
But what do you mean? But when you say you don't understand something, what do you mean by that?
So like some of the entries to the legs, how they're getting like, I'll go back and watch step by step. I'm not the brightest, so I'm like, I'll slow down. I'm like, okay, he's putting this and he's doing this. But watching it in real time, I'm like, how did he get there? I mean, unless you're like at these gyms with these people doing some of the entries on the legs and other new guard techniques. Like here's a perfect example. I think I might be able to answer your question about it. I've been in matches and I've been coaching people and their opponents are doing something that I don't have a good answer for. I'm watching them and I'm like, I don't know what to say. Like right or left could be bad. I'm not going to say anything. Now I have to go learn. Because I'd hate to say I'm coaching you all the time and some dude, maybe they're not better than you in all aspects, but they have this one certain guard that I don't have an answer for. I'll be like, Arion, good luck. I don't know. Like perfect example is in Atlanta Open, the guy was in on Mason's leg in this X guard position. He looked at me and I was like, I don't know, man.
Like Bill O'Reilly said, we'll do it live.
Yeah, like, man, but I have to go figure that out now. I have to go back to that point in time and I have to put if I'm trying the best for my students, I have to try to put those pieces back together. Unless I'm there and involved in it, there's no way that can happen.
That makes sense now what you're saying, because like I will admit too that like even when I'm watching jiu-jitsu, there's a lot of times where like if
You might have a loose idea. Like, I think I kind of know.
I'll say wow because I didn't even know that was possible.
Yeah.
The way you transition to the back, holy shit, I'd never seen that before. Or maybe I have seen it, but like I can't do that because I don't know the steps. So I get now what you mean by like you didn't know that, and I guess what am I going on a limb here when I say because of that? Does that then like fire you up to learn so that you can find these rebuttals to these moves?
Nothing will piss me off more than like somebody lose and I don't have a good answer.
Yeah.
Or like, okay, now we need to learn this, because that's a bummer. You don't want someone a lot, especially in jiu-jitsu. It's maybe hard to explain if you don't do it. So say you have a really good guard and I'm a really good passer, and I can win all 80, 90% of the aspects of the sport, but you have this one trick, and you keep doing it and you're winning it. And is your jiu-jitsu better than mine? Maybe not, but you have one trick that's like putting you up on points right now that can't figure out. That's a bummer. Like, I'm better than you everywhere. If we get out of this little position, I'll whoop your ass. But that one thing stopped me. That sucks. Those guards, those entries on the legs, some of the stuff with the lapel, and if you don't know it, you're like...
Would you make the argument though that will never not be the case? Not even necessarily because of knowledge, but because of like body types, frames. I mean, some guys will have a really strong top game just because of like the way God made them, like their genetics. You know what I mean? Or maybe their game is very conducive to something that is also relevant to them physically. You know what I mean? Like for instance, if you got long legs, chances are you're gonna be throwing up a lot of triangles, a lot of arm bars from guard, right? But for me, I like being on top. You know what I mean?
I say new guards. It's pretty much all been done before. Things get recycled and they add elements. But I might even use this like things that are like in the meta, like these new things, like these guys. Somebody
you're so hip.
I know, right? I got that one right. Or they do this like new pass that some J-Rod or some guys are doing, and it becomes a thing where everyone's doing it. And they get really good at it. But like, it's not that new. You just got to figure it out, like what's coming next. There tends to be like guards or ways to play the game that go through cycles.
Yeah.
And people get really good at these little cycles of...
I would say that's how the same way like MMA was too. Like there'd just be someone.
I remember you get like a guy like Dominic Cruz, and everyone wants to be Dominic Cruz. Yeah.
Or I'll tell you what, when Anderson Silva knocked out Vitor Belfort with the teep kick, literally every day at the gym or the next day, like everyone's doing teep kicks the whole day.
When Patty Pimlet did that, it was like a Doris Peruvian necktie situation. I was like, "Can you teach us that?" Because it happens all the time. Or somebody does a random submission, then everyone wants to learn it.
Can I make, I'm going to say a comment, and I'd be curious to see if you'd agree or disagree with me. The comment is, I think MMA has plateaued, and in that plateau, jiu-jitsu is actually growing, like exploding right now.
So like popularity?
Yeah, popularity, but like, I mean, just the overall conversations, like this is anecdotal, right? Yeah. The amount of conversations that I'm having about the UFC, about MMA, about PFL, are either the same as last year or less. But the conversations that I'm having about jiu-jitsu, about grappling, about the growth of jiu-jitsu, about individual shows, about people trying to grow the sport of jiu-jitsu is greater than last year.
I agree. But I think how to get involved in jiu-jitsu, the entry is so much easier than MMA.
Agreed.
Right?
Agreed.
So say you wanted to start jiu-jitsu, you could go down the street and start at a gym, and instantly you're around 5 guys in jiu-jitsu, and then you start hanging out and watching people that do jiu-jitsu. Like MMA, like when I was an amateur, the entry was pretty low. It's like, okay, I'm going to do MMA, I could fight next weekend. But now, like, some of the amateur fighters train for a while, and they're really good. So I think the barrier of entry is...
I agree but disagree. I agree that the barrier of entry for MMA is higher, but not because of that. I think that jiu-jitsu is just easier to get into because it's a solo martial art, where MMA is just harder to get into because, you know, think about like St. Charles MMA, for instance, is like a prime example of this. Like, yeah, they have a jiu-jitsu program, but they also have to have a boxing program, a wrestling program, a this, a that program to get people ready for MMA. It's just fundamentally easier to get into jiu-jitsu and hyper-focus in jiu-jitsu. That's not what I was saying is like, because I would make the argument that these jiu-jitsu athletes that are coming up now, similar to like these MMA fighters that are coming up now, are fucking killers, dude. You got some 20-year-olds in both sports, like both MMA and jiu-jitsu, that are world class at their age, which is insane.
Yeah.
So like, I think the barrier to entry in the sports is different. I think MMA is going to be the hardest to get into because of the intricacies. You need to know a little bit of everything nowadays, right? But I also think that jiu-jitsu is like easier to get into, but it's also never been more competitive.
There's more gyms, right? Dude, the white belts, the blue belts are so good, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
People like, oh, they try to compare when I was a blue belt and the blue belt now. I'm like,
It's not the
they'd
same.
fucking kill me.
It's not the same.
It's like there's unbelievably good white belts and blue belts, and there's so much content online.
Yes.
So you could get on YouTube, and that used to be a joke. You can learn off YouTube, which there's a lot of trash, but I mean, you can.
I would make the argument now that that's I hate to say it this way because people are going to like, I don't think it's a legitimate way to learn jiu-jitsu like in the upper belts at all. Yeah. But yeah, dude, if you're going into your jiu-jitsu gym for the very first time, watching a couple of YouTube videos on guard and all these other things.
Or you can watch black belts competing live and pick apart those videos if you really wanted to, if you're that invested. I mean, that's what I do. Like, people say, oh, I like this guard. I want to get better. I'm like, I don't do that. But I can think of this black belt. Well, go watch what they do in competition. They have a really good deep half guard, whatever it is. Watch them because I'm not good at it. I don't want to lie and say I am and give you bad
Let
answers.
me ask you this. What is the difference between people learning BJJ back in the day through these VHS tapes or CDs that used to be sold from black belts and black belts now just having YouTube channels?
I think there's just a lot more. So
agreed. There's like more bullshit to sift through, but I would make the argument that
really
on
good
premise,
content,
I would say that there's better content now.
Oh, absolutely.
The game of grappling, the game of, as martial arts is concerned, human beings have never been more deadlier with hand-to-hand combat than today.
Oh, yeah.
And it's only going to get better. We're going to be more deadly as a species next year than we were this year.
I don't watch like wrestling.
Like WWE or folk style, freestyle?
Right now. But like, has there ever been a time when there's been these like young 16, 15 beating NCAA champions like this?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, I think if you go back in history, you've always had like the phenoms, like with the prospects and stuff like that.
Seems like there's a lot to me.
Yeah. Well, I think the culmination of a library of knowledge and technical advancements in medicine and dude, you're not wrong.
I can't like
globally. I think wrestling's a martial art. Yeah. So like I would lump wrestling into my previous comment of like we've never been more deadly as a species in hand-to-hand combat. And I would say, sorry guys from the past, like I would say today's wrestlers would fucking mop the floor with a lot of the wrestlers from the past.
Look at like videos of Dan Gable.
Yeah, compared to what they're doing now.
Yeah, it's a different thing. And do I think
and that's no disrespect.
Mindset, no, if he was in this, he'd still be as down because it's his mindset. But I'm just like, you can't. Like, you watch the wrestling now to 30 years ago, it doesn't even look the same.
We would make the argument that a Dan Gable coming up today would be even more deadly because he would have all these benefits as well. He'd have the library, he'd have the medicine, he'd have all.
I want
a
Dan Gable movie. Wouldn't that be cool?
Like a Dan Gable movie in the sense of like a Hollywood movie or like a documentary.
Do you know his like story?
Yeah, I know a lot
about his sister and all that.
Yeah. Gabe. When I was coming up in high school, I read a book, The Fighter's Mind and the Fighter's Body. Same author.
Sam Sheridan?
Yeah. And one of the chapters was dedicated directly to Dan Gable. He went to his house and like it was like a really good chapter about like the mindset of Dan Gable. But I'm actually this is not gonna be a compliment. This is actually gonna be like a detriment. I read the chapter of that book and I used to start thinking that I need to train like that. I need to be miserable. I need to do all these other things. And I was breaking down my body. The truth of the matter is like some things don't age well.
Well, he even say, have you heard him talk about that?
Well, I think, here's what I'll also say. How many people like that could have been good in the sport of wrestling or maybe coached or, not even killed themselves, hurt themselves or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Maybe like coached by someone. Dude, I've seen bad wrestling coaches that still have that Dan Gable method where they're doing toppers for 30 fucking minutes before the beginning of practice. And if one person speaks up during like the drill roll, now we got all 100 push-ups. It's like, dude, there's a right and a wrong way. I think we're learning that. Like for me as a coach, I can tell you that I don't coach the way I was coached. And the way I coach has shifted in the 4 or 5 years that I've done it. Like how I started 5 years ago and how I am now is different because I'm kind of taking in like what I'm seeing from the kids and what's receptive, what's not receptive. Because at the end of the day, this is what I've come to. You could disagree with me. I don't care if any of these kids become state champions. I want them to wrestle for 4 years. I want them to be around the sport of wrestling. I want them to appreciate the sport of wrestling and to learn the things from the sport of wrestling. And then some of them will take that and become more passionate about it. Like I have some state medalists now, and I'll pour a little bit more into those kids, but I can't expect the freshmen to keep up with the practice from the returning state medalist senior.
Yeah.
It's just not going to be uniform. You can't do it. And I don't want to drive those freshmen away because those freshmen could be the state qualifiers their senior year and still get something from this sport. So like what I'm trying to say is like that mentality, that Dan Gable method, I literally cannot do that as a coach. Half of my team will quit tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
So what's the method here? Are we trying to make champions or are we trying to grow the sport?
Yeah, it's not, in hindsight, I think I've even heard him speak about like how he would do it differently.
Yeah.
You know? But I'm just saying that I think it'd be a cool movie. Like a deep psychological thriller.
Well,
or something.
also the bounce back story of being like an undefeated college wrestler and then losing your last ever match.
Yeah, it's like a movie, right?
Yeah, and then you know people going, oh my God, and then to go from that to go to the Olympics and not have a single point scored on you and walk away with gold. That's wild.
That is.
Dan Gable's wild.
That's like,
talk about dominance, flawless victory.
And M. Night Shyamalan directed Dan Gable.
And at the end, Dan Gable gets his Olympic gold medal and says, "Not only do I have autism, but I'm also a woman." Bringing it back full circle. No, the reason I bring that up about like the plateauing of MMA and the growth of jiu-jitsu is it is something that I'm noticing, and I'm also noticing a lot more of these promotions coming up for jiu-jitsu than MMA. Like there's more ways to compete in jiu-jitsu today than there is MMA.
I think it's more power. There's a lot of factors, I think. One, there's no state commission.
Agreed.
That's
Agreed. I want to talk about that actually.
So if that happens,
is that a good or a bad thing? Sorry, Tim.
From my viewpoint, probably good right now.
When does it become bad?
When people start like serious injury or like when there's more money. All right, so say it grows to a point where there's a lot of money on the line,
I would say
and
there's
then
some money in
shadiness
jiu-jitsu.
gets. I mean, that's kind of why they invented some athletic commissions. Is right, you know, people taking dives and fights and making sure everything was on the up and
you mean
up.
like
Right?
corruption more than anything. Corruption.
And
like people are betting on these.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, hey, listen, we can make 100,000 if I win this match, or I can make $1 million if I bet against myself and throw.
from my understanding, that's kind of why they developed athletic commissions is to stop money laundering and type situations being involved in the sport.
I could see that, and following a uniform rule set, and like
that's a problem with jiu-jitsu right now is the rule set. So it's like
broken up
literally and during practice. Hey, this round we're doing ADCC rules. Okay, this time we're doing IBJJF rules. Now the UFC ones are going to have different rules, and it's kind of hard to keep up with. And there's not one uniform rule set that everyone's training for.
Why do you think that is?
Styles, maybe like a submission only style. Kinda, people think are going to be more excited. People are hunting for submissions. IBJJF has always had the same rule set. ADCC has always followed the pretty, like that's their rule set. But why are we all doing? Well, those are the two main ones, right? I guess. But you watch like Who's Number One, and they do their different rule set. I guess everyone's probably. I guess my theory would be everyone's trying to find the format that is the most exciting to get viewership, which I see right now. I think is going on in jiu-jitsu. Is these people are forming these different promotions. I guess I'm gonna mess this up. I always say PFL is no MMA. PGF.
Yeah.
They form the St. Louis team, and they have a different rule set. And I think people are trying to build this thing, and they're trying to maybe sell it to a streaming network. Like, okay.
For commercial success.
Right, how else are you going to make money off, like, if we're going to start a jiu-jitsu league and bring in a bunch of good people, and we're going to film it, how do you monetize that? How many people are going to show up to watch?
want to agree with you, but then I would also say that RAF right now, the freestyle wrestling.
How do they pay those guys?
What?
I guess the live
They
gate
just got the streaming deal, so I'm saying like freestyle wrestling
is
has
more
not
exciting.
changed.
And
Has
it's
not
more
changed.
exciting, I think. Than jiu-jitsu.
Maybe but you have to be an educated like fan to understand wrestling.
I would love to see if it lasts.
I think freestyle is more exciting than folk style. I'll agree with you there, and it's more exciting than Greco-Roman. So like, you're not wrong in saying that like freestyle wrestling is the most flashy. I'll use the word flashy. It's the most flashy form of wrestling, right? But I guess what I'm trying to say though is like freestyle wrestling has existed, right, for years, and RAF comes along and makes it commercially viable. How? By essentially just picking up talent that already has like followings, and I feel like that's kind of the playbook now. I hate to say it this way, but like Jake Paul kind of proved it. Like anything can become.
Oh, that hurts. I don't know.
I hate to say it, but like, who's had better gates in boxing than Jake Paul? There's only been one. I think Canelo versus.
Are the
Crawford.
numbers real though? I don't know. Like the Ronda Rousey numbers, they seemed inflated. I hope I'm wrong. I hope
don't
it
even
says
know the numbers.
He said 9 million.
I watched it.
I watched it too.
I missed today's UFC. Let me put it that way. I watched the Jake Paul fucking MVP.
I knew exactly what was going to happen too, and I still
and I still want. That's what I'm trying to say. Is like, so did I, dude. I knew that Ngannou was going to destroy the guy he was fighting because he wasn't even a heavyweight that he was competing against. Every fight on that main card, by the way, finished in the first round with the exception of Mike Perry versus Nate Diaz. You know what I mean? Every fight was a 1-rounder.
Yeah.
Not a shocker there. What I'm trying to say though is to the point about commercial viability. If that is the goal, then the goal is not even to grow the sport. The goal is to grow individual followings and then have them compete in sports, whatever sport that is. Jake Paul could go to RAF tomorrow, and that's going to be their number one selling. I hate to say it this way, but that's going to be their number one selling event. Not because Jake Paul's like the best wrestler or whatever, because he's got the best following, the best eyes. So if that is what we're trying to do, become commercially viable, then the argument would be like, don't even worry about jiu-jitsu. Worry about fostering like individuals and then get them over to jiu-jitsu.
That's great. That's like.
Does that make sense what I'm saying?
There's points I was trying to make. One of those like, I feel like I'm out of touch with that culture because like.
Same.
It's like Jake Paul is this big name and he's got all this following and these guys wrestling have such a big following and people know who they are. I'm like, how? You know, like
young people.
And maybe I'm a step back. I'm like, how does this happen? But the RAF, I hope I'm really wrong about this. I think right now it's very popular because it's new, and we've never had it before.
And they're using UFC talent. Yeah. I think that's the other thing.
That's definitely a fact. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope that it sustains and becomes the biggest thing. But I think there's an element of it that like we've never had this before. We got to support it.
And I will say that it is the only freestyle wrestling. Like one of the benefits that they have is they kind of have a monopoly right now. Because like, what other freestyle wrestling could I watch outside of like Fargo or some sort of nationals tournament or some sort of like basically like their organized tournament. It's not like a commercial.
Those are like USA Wrestling organized type events, you know.
Like
no outside promoter has ever really tried to push.
Well, they've tried. Like Mirkatani does like his show and everything. Like there's been people that have tried, but not.
It's like high school kids though, right?
High school, college, but still competitive aged, Because no offense to the guys that are competing, but like when Hamzat wrestles in RAF against Dylan Dennis.
Who thought Dylan was going to win that one?
I don't think anybody did.
This has been in my mind for a little bit. We were talking about sports and females. They've got so much better. Like
female martial artists,
MMA
or
fighters,
sports,
jiu-jitsu. Like think about the time of Ronda Rousey. They were fighting, and it's just like, and the girls that were not Ronda Rousey.
I understand what you're saying.
They were not that skilled, and like. I'm not like people. I've always liked watching females fight more than a lot of people. Like, oh, fuck, the girls suck, blah, blah. There for a while, they had ground to step on because they were not that skilled. Even girls wrestling, I coached the first year the girls wrestling, and it was rough. They didn't have much experience. Now I'll go and see some of the girls wrestling like in the college open, or I'm like, man, they are good.
I agree 100% with you, and I think it stems from the lack of library and stuff like that. Like, Afton just got its girls wrestling team, I want to say like 5 years ago. Yeah. You know what I mean? So we've had a boys team for almost 100 years. We had a girls team for 5 years. And now we got some girls that are qualifying for state. I had a girl almost medal for state last year. I'm with you. Like the technical acumen of females in martial arts has only increased, and I think it seemed at a faster rate than men because they still benefit from all the things that men benefit, but they didn't have the long history of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like if you think about it, like if you started 50 years ago with like no internet or no nothing, like how long would it take you to get to where women that had started 5 years ago, but with like a plethora of like all this library of content and coaches that know better and medicine that's better, you know what I mean? It'll take people longer to get to that point. But I will agree with you that the level that women are at now would make the women from 5 years ago seem like they're stuck in the mud.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I agree. It's been exponential growth for them.
Yeah, and it's across boxing, wrestling.
Well, ask yourself this question: what female champion still exists from 3 years ago? There's not one.
What's the Russian girl? 35?
Valentina.
Is she still around? Is she still around?
I guess okay. The one.
She's good.
She's the one.
Yeah.
She's the one. I thought she beat Nunes in the rematch. So like technically, I think she's the GOAT. But anyway, so outside of Valentina, who's still there? None.
None that I can think of.
Yeah.
I liked Joanna when she was fighting.
Young Jacek.
What's Rose? Rose is.
Yeah, but ever since she bumped up to 25, it's not been the same.
She kind of looked unmotivated to me. That was my impression of some of her fights.
That brings up a good question about like the mentality of an individual and how like the mind is actually the most important aspect of a fight. You can have all the physical aspects. You can know all the things of how to separate someone from their consciousness, but if you're not ready for combat, and that was the problem with Rose, is like sometimes she'd go out there and look like a fucking world beater, and sometimes she'd go out there and get beat by Carla Esparza in the worst fight I've ever seen in my life by decision.
Yeah.
Same chick that knocked out Joanna then loses to Carla Esparza by 5-round decision. So it's like...
This is also bringing up like another... I'm going to tie this together. Like you see those, sometimes people have really bad performance, but you don't know what's going on in their life, you know? Like,
yeah, okay.
But do you remember when the UFC used to do the full access shows? And you got invested, and you could kind of see behind the curtain of those guys and how invested. I wish
even when they actually took embedded seriously, they did it for every event.
I feel I don't know anything about how to market that stuff, but like that made me invested.
No, you're correct. The UFC has actively gotten worse. They are better at promoting the brand of UFC, but they are worse at creating individual stars.
Yeah.
I agree with you there.
Maybe that's the most profitable way to...
I think it is for them. I think they realize that.
I remember it was like the George St. Pierre, BJ Penn one.
Yeah, but I was about to say that. You'll never have those. Dude, I remember I came up in MMA when Conor was like sparking people.
Yeah.
And the rate at which MMA was growing. I remember when he fought Chad Mendez. That was like the first time someone made $500,000 flat in MMA, right? And everyone's like, Conor even said it at a press conference, like, I'm increasing the whole rates for everybody. And if you talk to a lot of the fighters, they'll even say, like, hey, listen, Conor might be this, that, or the other. But one thing he did was got everybody else paid more, because then he brought in more money, brought in more, eyes to the sport, and it grew the sport. So, like, you're not wrong if you're thinking, is the UFC promoting itself because it's better for business? Maybe, like, quarter 1 through quarter 4. But then if you do that, you will never have those like serendipitous moments of you create a superstar that transcends the sport and then lifts the sport up. And say whatever you want about Conor now, because he's a shadow of his former self, just like we all are. But when he
Speak
was
for yourself.
Kirk's like, I've never been better.
I do. I don't think I've
in MMA?
No, maybe not.
In jiu-jitsu, I would agree with you.
Yeah, I feel like I'm learning and growing all the time.
That's one thing, but I'm talking about like to be at that high level competition.
Oh, that has to be hell. I've never. I mean, like I played college sports and I was very good, but like just the idea of what I did, trying to maintain that over the course of that long, that sounds terrible.
Yeah, I don't think it's sustainable.
No, I think they did studies about like people that can maintain the highest performance. I think it's like 2 to 3 years. I could be completely wrong. But I feel like I've read a study where it's like, how long can people maintain their optimal conditioning and focus in any sport? I think it's about 2 or 3 years.
That kind of makes sense, because like when you look at a lot of people's like heyday, their glory years, that's about the length between like 2 and 4 years.
There's always outliers. Look at some of those.
John Jones.
Yeah.
John Jones is always my like go-to of like some people are built different.
What is it? What is?
I think it's a combination of nature and nurture. I think like he's genetically gifted. Like
He's a
he
wild
had
man.
2 brothers that were in the NFL, so like
Genetically,
the
blessed.
sauce is good. But then also, I think growing up in that competitive environment his whole life, and then I hate to say it this way, but timing as well. Because
That
like
helps,
when
for sure.
when John was coming up in the UFC was just a fundamentally different space. That being said, I would make the argument that John Jones has the greatest strength of schedule in any MMA fighter ever. Like when he was on his ascension, he was beating world class, world renowned fighters at one after another after another. He beat Shogun for the championship and then continued to beat legends for the better half for that first half of his career, just legend after legend after legend. And I mean, now you can make the argument that like, he comes back as a heavyweight to fight Stipe Miocic, who's past his prime and all these other things. But what I am trying to say is he truly is as undefeated as someone can get. I know that he has a loss against Matt Hamill, but that's a Steve Mazzagatti thing. But like, when people try to compare him to Khabib as like both undefeated, I was like, Khabib has had no close strength of schedule and for the time frame. John Jones is the outlier, the GOAT of our sport, and it's not even close. It's not even close. It's John Jones, a country mile, maybe Mighty Mouse.
Yeah.
Maybe Mighty Mouse.
I can't even think of anybody else that you can compare it to.
Yeah. Who's been that dominant for that long in any sport? Think about it, like basketball, football, in any sport.
How long was Michael Jordan's run?
Yeah, I was going to say that. So like Michael Jordan had the what? He was dominant like throughout his whole career, except for like the Magic days. But that was like, he was just coming back for, I think, shits and giggles. But when he was making those runs for the 3-peats, the 2 3-peats, I mean, he had the team around him and everything like that. And that's a different sport to talk about because of the team aspect, because MMA is a solo endeavor. And that's the variable. Like, Michael Jordan didn't start winning his championships until he started getting a team around him that could help facilitate his play style. Because before then, he was consistently losing to the Celtics. Not consistently losing. Forgive me. I don't want to sound like a rewriter of history, but when the playoffs would come, the team would fall short because he couldn't carry 4 other guys on his shoulders in a way where John never had those variables. I don't think there's any. Yeah, I'll say it. I don't think there's been anybody in sport as dominant as John Jones, with one exception, and that is, can't believe Tom Brady. Tom Brady of the New England Patriots. And then subsequently, where did he go? Atlanta, right? When he won his last one? Oh, yeah, he wasn't with the Falcons. He was with the Buccaneers. You're right. So he won 1 Super Bowl with Tampa Bay after, like, retiring. And then his buddy, Gronk, was like, let's do one more. And then they went on and did one more. Fucking wild.
I could be having the wrong guy, but I saw a side-by-side comparison. I think it was Tom Brady run the 40 at like 25 and like 43, and he was faster at 43 or something like that.
Yeah, that's wild, right?
Yeah.
That's wild. But
he's not that fast in general.
You want to know what I think the variable is now that you're asking me? It's mind. It's mind. Because
Yeah.
if you look at interviews from like Tom Brady when he was 25, he was kind of gangly, a little bit like probably a touch of the tism, you know what I mean? And then you look at him at like 30, 35, he starts getting this confidence from success. And I think that's exactly what happened with John Jones. Because when you see John Jones as his like UFC debut and stuff like that, he was under Rashard Evans. Like Rashard Evans was his like idol or whatever. And Rashard was kind of like at Jackson Winklejohn, took him under his wing until John got the title. And then it was like, John's the man. And then when John beat the shit out of Rashard Evans, woo, off to the races, man. And then John never looked back. I mean, here's the thing. John's had some really close fights. And I'll go on record saying that I thought Dominic Reyes and Thiago Santos both beat John.
I remember the Santos.
Yeah, I thought Thiago Santos and Dominic Reyes both beat John. But here's the thing. Neither of those guys is anybody talking about anymore. Does that mean it's like, and here's the thing about sports that I think is underappreciated. The hardest thing in sports is not winning once. It's consistently winning. So like anybody can be the better man of anyone on any given night. I truly believe that, especially in MMA. I mean, how many times have you seen the better man not come across, not finish the night as a winner, right? It's happened. And we have a thing for that. We say like, hey, 9 times out of 10 you beat that guy, but tonight was his night. You know what I mean? John, for whatever you want to say, has consistently beat people, even if they've been razor tight and then gone on to defend that. You know what I mean? And anytime he's had here's the thing that really tells you how great he is. Anytime he's ever had a rematch, that rematch has been more dominant than the first fight. Does that make sense? When he first fought DC, tough fight. Second time he fought DC, fucked him up. Third time he fought DC, fucked him up even worse. You know what I mean? So, or actually, they never fought a third time. Sorry. I was thinking about Alexander Gustafsson because he rematched Gustafsson. Yeah. And Gustafsson was kind of talking mad shit. Gustafsson's like, I took you into deep waters. I saw your blood and all these other things. Second fight, Gustafsson got worked. You know what I mean? So all I'm saying is, I don't want to sound like a John Jones nut hugger, and I don't really give a shit about what he does outside of his life because, like, there's no way you can't be a wild guy. There's never going to be another John Jones, and John was the GOAT. John is the GOAT.
Yeah.
Actually, I take that back. I don't know what the future holds. There might be another John Jones. Like,
who knows?
But so far, no one's even come close. No one's even come close. I mean, you could make the comment that, like, he wasn't the most popular, like Conor McGregor was the most popular, but no one can hold a candle to John's accomplishments in the cage. Conor's got all the pay-per-view records. That's great. But I hate to say it this way, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, when everybody's retired, there's a new subset of people, no one's really going to be talking about Conor. But John will be looked at as like the way Michael Jordan is. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, it's about belts, it's about championships, it's about winners. No, I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of quarterbacks, but like Tom Brady's the GOAT. What has he got, 7 rings? That's fucking insane.
Yeah, that's great.
You know what I mean? So
I was just drawing the compare when you're talking about everything. One kind of like Gordon in jiu-jitsu.
Gordon Ryan, yeah.
He always finds a way to. He doesn't have an off night. He never drops.
He's on.
Yeah, and a lot of the top guys are they just drop a match to so and so. Maybe it's the rule set or a bad strategy, and they lose. Not Gordon.
So Gordon is actually that consistent in in all these things.
I don't even remember the last time he's lost.
Wow. Is he still competing at that highest level?
No, he has those stomach issues. Yeah. I know he opened a gym in Austin, Kingsway, and I think that's his.
He's got some controversy outside of the mats because of his lifestyle, though, right? I heard he's kind of notorious asshole.
I don't know. There's
and bad to do business with.
There seems to be a lot of drama with it.
Well, the roids. I hate to say it this way, forgive me, but the roids is it's ubiquitous in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. I don't think he denies that.
I don't think any jiu-jitsu guy denies that.
Well,
it's not illegal in the sport, so I hate to say it this way, but
in the IBJJF, they test the black belts. I was actually, they have for a while, so I want to say it's 2022, 23, that Asada shows up to the Worlds. I was there, and I think there 13, 14 weight classes. Everyone just left because they only test the winner. Cyborg left. There's I don't know how many people just got up and left. And we're sitting in the stands, we're waiting for the final, and it's not happening. And they left the arena when Asada showed up to their gyms and tested a lot of them, and he tested positive, and a bunch of them did. But yeah, it's that clear that everyone is on steroids.
I had a conversation with Josh McKinney because he was kind of illuminating the world of jiu-jitsu and anabolic steroids to me. And steroids didn't make sense to me in martial arts in a way that it does make sense to me in sports like baseball and stuff like that. When Barry Bonds got popped or whatever, if you want to
I think they should all be on steroids.
Well, one or the other.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Either we're all on the sauce or none of us are on the sauce. Yeah. But I also think that if you're taking shit to hit a ball harder.
Yeah, you're not really hurting
I don't
anyone.
really care.
Fighting, yes.
Yeah, but if you're taking... Vitor Belfort is the prime example of this.
I liked watching it.
Yeah, I loved watching him too, but I'm sure Luke Rockhold lost 2 years of his life from that wheel kick knockout. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's fine until the outcome of your anabolic steroid use is then causing, irreparable brain damage to somebody else.
But
if everybody's on it, then I don't feel as bad.
Say so many mounts out. They're do you want this to be a fight where you can take or a fight you can't? And we both agree.
In the bout agreement?
Yeah, but
that makes more sense to me too.
We both agree that we can. I'm down. Let's sign it. We're both doing it.
But then you got to get who's your physician? What are you going to be taking? Because think about it. If someone
they open the vault, take what you want. All right, you got 3 hours to figure out what you want, and that's the rule set.
A Mexican physician walks through the door hola, senor. You're oh, I'm about to get some good shit today.
Yeah, that is hard.
I feel less bad about grappling, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Grappling's in between that. I don't know what to think because at the same time, you're not slamming somebody's head and you're not punching them, right? But, you know,
It is making you perform
stronger,
better.
faster, recover. I get
And
that.
you are in competition, and whether it's money or the notoriety of a championship is on the line, and say we're going for an ADCC title and you're on stuff and I'm not, and you win, it's like he had an extra. But they don't test. They clearly tell you.
But if they don't test, and then this is the argument. This is where I kind of fall on my sword on this one is like, yeah, but then if you wanted to, you could do it too. Just like he's not getting tested, neither are you. Then the question of like, well, should that be the thing? And here's my response. If people dedicate themselves to a endeavor and they are willing to pay whatever prices come from that, reap what you sow. Gordon Ryan is, you know, made a name for himself, made his money, did all these other things, and I'm sure he's going to have the health problems that come along with all of this.
They might be facing him currently with the stomach issue.
Exactly.
I don't know what caused
But if
that.
you ask Gordon, would he go back and change it? I'm sure he wouldn't.
Yeah, it comes with the cost, I guess.
We're talking about John Jones, and you would be failed to reminisce on him properly if not saying that, like, in the early part of his career, he was probably on the sauce too.
I think a lot were. Yeah.
The variable in that was like everybody else he was fighting was on the sauce as well. That was just like ubiquitous back then in the sport.
Did you watch the enhanced games or whatever? Did you see any of that?
No. What is
I think that's where that's where they do normal sports, but they're all on steroids.
How'd that one?
How'd
that one go?
I don't know. I know Joe Rogan had the guy on it that was running it. It's like, yeah, fair game.
I'd be curious to see, like, if that actually, because here's the thing I'll say, and I'm not trying to sound like a cunt when I say this, but like, I would never do anything because of my own ego. Like when I was in competition with fighting and stuff like that, I would never take I didn't even take like multivitamins because I was like, no, fuck that shit. I'm this, I'm that, whatever. Granted, I was also mid-20s, right? So like, it was a different story. But I never wanted to feel like my victory was like from an outside thing. So like I never took anything. You know what I mean? I would be curious to see like how people would do if you are a ubiquitous, you know, performance enhancer user. Now, not in the sport of fighting, because I think it's a little different, but like in running, triathlons. I'd be curious to see how you do against people that are natty because of their discipline and everything, like whether or not they're competitive or not. Because by virtue of like wanting to take an anabolic steroid, say whatever you want, I'll die on this hill, you're cutting corners, you're cheating. You're cheating yourself, you're cheating, you're doing something. It might amplify you, but it's a cheat. You're taking a foreign substance.
Yeah, but is that cheat outweigh the mental discipline?
Like, will I gain more from the physical benefits than I lose from the mental deficiencies?
Me committing to cheating, -5, but the effect gives me plus
6 or whatever.
Plus 15, who knows?
Was it a net positive? I understand what you're saying.
And there's probably people that want to win at all costs. They are that disciplined.
And they take the sauce. I think that's how you get a Gordon Ryan type motherfucker, where they have both, where they would have been just fine in a world of no anabolic steroids. They'd probably still, if everybody was natty, he'd probably still be the champion. But in a world with it, he's just the champion with bigger muscles.
Yeah.
I don't know. I also, don't compete high level jiu-jitsu. So, I mean,
I can grab people and I know.
Yeah.
It's like,
is it that obvious?
Most time, yeah. It's like, oh God, this guy is.
Have you ever thought about it? Like, by the way, no shame have you done it? Like, do you do it? Have you ever thought about it? Because you still compete, you're still doing the thing. You know what I mean? No. Have you thought about it?
No. Like, if I was at like a crazy higher level, and like putting my, if it was worth it, like, like say there was a lot of money on the line, it'd be worth taking all the stuff in the world for. But like if I'm trying to win the Masters 2 ADCC, is it worth like running trend or crazy amount unhealthy aspects of it? But like testosterone replacement therapy, who cares? Like all guys in their 30s do that. But like those guys are not taking that. They're taking
above and beyond.
They're not taking 200 milligrams or whatever test. They're taking 400 and they're running 4 or 5 things.
Yeah.
And I think there's a huge difference. Like you're middle-aged guy, my age, 35, and you're competing in a sport and you want to take testosterone, all for it. But I think there's a distinct line at that point like you're trying to be active and trying to like still compete in the sport, but then there's like running all the other stuff.
Yeah. And that's the fine line, right? It's difficult to determine what is and what isn't, because that's what was happening with TRT.
Yeah, that's exactly kind of the same argument. It's like, yeah, it's say you get older and you can't compete and you want to take testosterone to compete at that higher, like, or just stay competitive and you want to compete in worlds, masters level. All guys over 30 are probably taking testosterone that still compete. But then there's the guys that like don't even look human. Like,
Yeah.
he's running. I bet, like, I don't know. Some of these guys are like taking a lot of different
We
things.
were actually just talking about this off the record, but I'll bring it up. Or the guys that are like supposed to be doing TRT, but like, because we have physiological differences. So
Right.
like your physician might be giving 100 milligrams of whatnot to so-and-so, and it's
Yeah.
working perfectly for them. And he might give you 100 milligrams because you guys are similar numbers or whatever, and it might be completely different for you. I've seen guys on TRT like our age, like I'm 33, you're what, 36, 37?
37, yeah.
37, sorry. So roughly same age. I think we would have gone to high school together. You would have been like a
People
senior.
lie. A lot.
What do you mean?
About it.
Oh, about like how much they're taking?
How much they're taking? Like, oh, doctor prescribed me 50 milligrams.
maybe that's what it is then.
I can think of people I know right now.
Yeah, because I know some guys that
It's
are
like,
on-
okay, I take this, and you look like this, and the guy goes, oh man, I take the same amount, and he looks 5 times bigger. And I don't think there's a physiological difference there. I think you lie.
Or there's a
And why do you care? Why,
yeah,
why?
that's also the psychology of it. Or there's just like side effects that are so like much more easily noticed. Like I know some people that'll take TRT and you can't tell.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like calm. Then I know some people where their like head turns pink.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like we're not even doing anything. We're just sitting
Well,
down.
you look like
having
a
dinner.
bodybuilder. And it's just
Yeah.
like you're doing jiu-jitsu, and all of a sudden you're a bodybuilder within
Yeah, out of nowhere.
out of 6 months.
I think we made that comment about Augustine, right? Like I made that comment because like I was training with him at St. Charles in May, and he was like this gangly, awkward featherweight.
Yeah.
And then I hadn't seen him in like 4 or 5 years, and then I see him at a Shamrock event, and I'm like, dude, he was jacked, like fucking jacked. I was like, what happened to Josh? Yeah. And then I saw him like 2 years after that, gangly again. I was like, oh. Got all the sauce. Listen, and he's not the only one. Let me put it to you this way. He's not the only one I've noticed. You know what I mean? I've fought guys that I know were on the sauce. I've done jiu-jitsu with guys that I know are on the sauce, like TRT or whatever. And it's, you're right. It's like noticeable. And it's not that I'm trying to say that I'm weak or anything, but it's like I'll grab a hold of people. I'm like, God damn, like we're the same size and you're so strong.
I remember going against this guy in Atlanta, and he grabs me by my jean and like he whips me, my legs kicked up in the air. And I was like, this is not even human. Like, this doesn't feel like I've grappled really strong people. And
Did you say something, or were you just like?
I think he was Portuguese. I'm just like, well, like,
Boa.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah. There's degrees of it for sure. Like a lot of people, I have no issue. People, myself, whoever, say you want to do that to stay competitive, okay. But then the people that abuse.
Yeah, but that's the thing is like,
that's why they don't test masters in the IBJJF, because like everyone.
The natural conclusion to not testing though results in people dying. The similar like to like
dying.
Dying. Kevin Randleman. Kevin Randleman died of like
You're talking about
attack.
extreme cases.
Yeah. Well, I hate to say it this way, like if you want to fucking shoot up for some like local CXBJJ thing, like okay, dude, like who cares? What's the outcome of this truly?
The scary thing is the kids, the 18, 19-year-old. And I'd say wait till you're 35 if you're going to experience, like try.
Or if you need it. Like maybe you're 35 and your T levels are great.
Yeah. And there's like 40-year-olds that have high. It all depends. But I don't even know what else.
No, the reason I was saying that is because like we were talking about the conversation of like, just let them run wild. The problem with that is if you leave these people to their own devices, they will inevitably kill themselves. Like Kevin Randleman died at the age of like 30.
People get greedy, you know.
Well, that's what I'm saying. By the same logic that would drive someone to do everything they can to be the world champion, we then anticipate them to have the discipline to pull back when it's time. Like, you know what I mean? We're seeing fighters right now like Dustin Poirier who can't even handle retirement properly, let alone not being the best in the world.
And you think that's from...
No, I don't think that Dustin was taking steroids. What I'm saying is like the mental aspect of these guys, because I think they're extreme winners.
Yeah.
I think they're at a fundamentally
people
different
that
level.
start to abuse those substances is like, okay, I feel good, but I can feel great.
But to your point though, you're not wrong when you bring up the children, because like I will say that like the conversations that kids are having now regarding this stuff
Well, I think it's more
did not
popular.
exist when I was a kid.
No.
Did not exist.
Like there was kids in high school that would do stuff. And like, where the fuck do you even get that?
When I was in high school, it was like creatine.
Yeah, creatine.
Like that was like the
Your
number.
parents saw you're on steroids and started taking creatine.
Yeah, or we actually had one kid. I don't want to say his name, but he was on human growth hormone as a kid.
Yeah.
But apparently it was
Did
like,
he need it though?
dude, he looked like an Adonis in high school. And I remember when I was in high school, like I was like, dude, I don't think I could ever lift weights and like train and look like him. And I remember when I was like fighting, I was like maybe like 24. I was in like the best shape of my life. I was lean and mean, just jacked. And then I saw the guy from high school, like just at Target or whatever, and he had shrunk.
Really?
I think I was heavier than him, and I was training for a fight, so I was cutting weight, and I was like, bro, I remember when in high school you were like 160 pounds. Now you're like $130.
I've heard like
He's not the only one too. There was another guy that I went to high school with who was the exact same way, and when I see him now, he looks like a child to me. It's weird.
But I know people that take small amounts like that's the hard thing. There's some benefits to taking that stuff like microdosing for recovery. But
That's a quality of life thing. That's not a competitive. I guess you could say recovery.
Same thing with tests and the same thing with HGS. There's a recovery, quality of life thing, and then there's abuse.
I think there's also a difference between like under the careful guidance of a physician.
Yeah.
You're doing blood work, you're getting the numbers back.
But they give you the bottle. It's up to you to do it, right? You know?
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So it's like,
So even if you do all this stuff, they say, hey,
say they prescribe you, just to make a number understand, 100 milligrams every 2 weeks, then they give you the bottle. They're not administering it to you.
Yeah.
You know, then you can buy it on the black market.
The other thing,
and these clinics, they overprescribe. You know, that's their market. They want to get you jacked, so they're not.
Well, that's the thing. That's the one of my. I have two main the reasons why I don't like it. Like fundamentally, when I look at the medication of, I guess, like HRT, human hormone replacement therapy, is two things. Number one is you are not like fixing the problem with these hormones or this therapeutics. Like you're not going to take HRT and then your endocrine system starts to produce its own testosterone and gets you back to the good old days, right? You're going to have to be on this forever. And if you ever like think about it, like how many times do you hear of people getting on like TRT and they tell you like, man, I feel like I'm 25 again. Okay. Well, now if you ever get off of this, you're going to feel even worse than you were before because your system's going to be crashed because now you're not even producing your own testosterone the same way you were. It's a fundamentally, I don't want to say placebo, but it's like, you know, you got a hole in the Titanic and you're trying to put duct tape on it. It's like, okay.
I think there's medications
that will fix. I think diet and exercise will fix it before medication.
Factor. That's all. I mean, that's with everything.
Yeah,
right?
that's like if you're 40 and you feel like you're 50, walk more. You don't have to run. Walk more. Change your fucking diet. Eat a little bit more white meat instead of the red meat. You know, like it's like not to be racist. Black meat's great too. All meat's good. Jeez. Pause. What I'm trying to say though is like, you know, the answer has always been there. It's been exercise, it's been lifestyle. And by the way, this is coming from a guy. This is like the most out of shape I've ever been. I drink now and all these other things, but now I'm more acutely aware of it. Like I know, like when my diet goes to shit, I feel like shit. I don't think that I'm immediately gonna go to my doctor and be like, hey, I need some fucking needle in my. I want to be careful how I say this because I've also had people from HRT companies on the show, and I think.
Do you mean TRT? Is that
TRT is testosterone HRT? Hormone replacement therapy.
Hormone. I was like,
because now, HRT is hormone replacement therapy because
hormone
Kelly D'Angelo is a prime example of what I'm about to bring up. Like Kelly D'Angelo, like ran her body into the fucking ground through fighting, cutting weight and all this other stuff to the point where her testosterone levels were so low it was affecting her as a woman. You know what I mean? Yeah. So she needed TRT or HRT to get her position back into place because like her and Jimmy want to have kids and all these other things. So like it's about more than that. So like I think there's a place for all this other stuff, but that's not primarily the use men are doing it for. They're doing it because they're like, oh, I'm tired. I want more energy.
There's absolutely that easily result, but there's also guys that are like they want a little bit of edge when they compete.
Agreed.
You know, there's so many nuances to why you would do or do not do all these things?
I think when you cut it down, I think it's just a shortcut. I really do. Change your lifestyle, change your diet, change your everything else. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
But what do I know?
That's a harder solution.
I think it's the more sustainable one. I think that's the only real solution. Everything else is a placebo, part-time, because you're only going to make the problem worse. When you introduce foreign substances to the body in a response to an inadequacy in your lifestyle, don't be surprised when the problem exacerbates. It's the natural conclusion.
But do you think, say we'll use Gordon Ryan, do you think he would have had that success?
That's a little different because we're talking about the highest echelon of competition. No, I don't. If Gordon Ryan wasn't on the sauce, he probably would have lost some of those key matches. But it's not as if it's like a moral conundrum. Like, I'm not saying that this is good or bad morally. I'm talking about it from the perspective of like physics. Like Gordon Ryan, we said it earlier, I know why he did it. I can understand why he did it. I could understand the perspective. But what I'm saying is now he's going to have to pay that cost, right? And what I'm saying is there's a bunch of people now that are doing this shit in lieu of simple therapeutics or simple lifestyle changes. They're just kind of cutting a corner. And I don't think they realize the price they're going to have to pay for their laziness.
Are you talking about younger people in general?
People my age, dude. I got people in the early 30s on HRT now.
Are they athletic?
They're trying to be, yeah.
Are they like competing in sports?
Yeah. I think what they're trying to do is, I think one person in general is like trying to make up for lost time. Like they were never really a competitor, and like I guess like now later in life.
It sounds like a jiu-jitsu guy.
Yeah, kind of.
There's a lot of wrestlers that were not that great.
Yeah, and then now they're in jiu-jitsu, and they're like, oh, I can, if I'm on the sauce.
I can win the state title this time. I will win the Fuji state this time.
I think it's for me, I've never achieved any of the heights I've ever wanted in sports. Like when I wrestled, I was never the state champion. Mm-hmm. As a fighter, I won some belts regionally, but never a world champion. You know what I mean? I never achieved anything I've ever wanted in sports. I've always fallen short, and I'm fine with that. I don't look back with like, oh, I could have, if I would have done this, I would have won the state championship. I don't care, dude. I'm on to the next thing. And I don't think that, I used to think that everybody was like that. And now I'm increasingly convinced that that's not the case. I think a lot of people live in the past.
I never really look back at things in the past. Like, I mean, I wish if I had my way, maybe it would change, but it's not like I stay up at night to any degree. It is what it is. Yeah. I just keep going.
You wonder, like, how would life have been different?
Or maybe I did this, but like, I don't think it affects me at all.
That's different from what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, I think some things live rent-free in people's heads.
Yeah, I could care less.
I talk to people that went to high school with me. Like, sometimes I'll see them out and about, and it is wild to me how the conversations will result inevitably on high school. And I'm like, dude, I don't care. That was 15, 16 years ago, dude. What are you doing today? How are the kids? Oh, you don't have kids. How's the wife? Oh, you don't have a wife. Like it's kind of like, how's the business? Oh, you don't have a business. How's this? Like, oh, I get now why you
live there. You got nothing
I get
else.
why you live there. You peaked, and that sucks.
I'm gonna translate this. Like, even competing, it's like right now, you win, lose, or draw. I really care less. Like, I want to win, obviously. But, like, I remember used to getting so upset losing. Now I literally
don't care.
I've, like, trained myself to do it. It's very hard because, like, I don't know how many times I lost, man. I'm like, I'm quitting jiu-jitsu, this is it. I'm done, and being upset. And now it's just like, meh. Like, I put no pressure on it.
But you've also competed for so long. I think it
takes a long time.
I don't think there's a right or wrong way, personally.
Yeah.
What do you want out of competition? That was my thing. I wanted to be the best in the world. And when I wasn't going to be the best in the world, I was like, okay, I didn't care about competition. Like when I did the CXBJ against Zach, if I would have lost that one, dude, I would not have given a shit. Like, I really wouldn't have. Okay, whatever. You know what I mean?
Did you train for it?
No. I told you I wouldn't, and I didn't. Do you want to know something else? We went to Hamilton's the night before, and I saw Adam Sello there with like one of the guys that ended up. Dude, we got destroyed that night before. I had a minor heat stroke after that match. I was so out of shape. But it's like riding a bike. You don't forget it. You don't forget it. If it was like a 7 or 8 minute match, I think I probably would have had a heart attack on the mat.
That's like a lot of times.
I swear to God, I think I would have died.
I've competed in tournaments now,
but I'll die before I tap. All right.
Normally master matches are shorter in length than adult. And sometimes they'll throw me in the adult bracket. And I'm like, dude, hold up. They're like, well, you don't think I'm like, maybe, but I can't go for 10 minutes. And the same thing when I like train and like some of the younger guys, I can hang for a little bit, but I can't keep the pace for 4 or 5 minutes. Like when I train with Mason or something, like 3 or 4 minutes in, I'm fucking.
Mason's also the prime example of like why I don't care about competition, because it's like, what am I trying to prove? That I'm the best between the ages of 33 and 35 at this weight class in this area? I don't own a jiu-jitsu gym. I don't care about this the way that I used to care about it. So I just don't fucking.
What do you think you're?
And then what am I going to do? Beat up guys like Mason or some of these guys that are coming up now that are fucking killers? Like, there's 20-year-olds now that can strangle me.
But, all right, try to be as honest as you can.
Sure.
Say all of a sudden you switch a gear and you look at those generations. Do you think you could do it if all your resources are there? Do you think you could compete at that level?
What do you mean with your question? Do you mean like if I was their age?
No, you're your age now.
I'm my age now, but I was taking it seriously, and I'm what, like thinking like, let's get on all the sauce.
Wife, family, they're gone.
I'm a single guy?
You're a single guy.
Oh, bro. Yeah, that's a good question.
Could you do it?
No, because I've been out of the game for 3 years. If I would have never, okay.
You got a year.
To what, get back in shape? Mm-hmm. No, because I've wasted 3 years where these other guys have been.
Do you think that's too much?
Yeah, that's a huge thing, dude. Think about it. When you're 20 years old, 3 years is 15% of your life. When you're 33, it's 7%. It's a big difference. Yes.
I think you could. I believe in you.
I appreciate you. You make a good coach. Like, positive. Listen, you know what? I'll go to your gym. I'll get on the sauce. Give me a year. Mason, I'm coming for you.
I give people real.
My head's going to be pink and I'm going to be bald.
They're like, do you think I can compete? I'm like, chances are against you. But like, I'm never going to say anything's possible. I've seen some people do some crazy things.
Yeah, it's not as if I don't. Let me answer that in a better way. It's not as if I don't think it can. My response is, to what end? For what purpose?
You want to win what's the new UFC pro. You want to be the 55-pound champion.
Yeah, maybe. Honestly, maybe.
It's possible.
I wouldn't say anything's impossible. I'm only 33, so I am near the end of that prime window. It could, dude, no. You know what? I'm going to answer this question with no, because if I wanted it, if it could have happened, it would have. So no, the answer to that question is there's nothing.
But you were never just training for jiu-jitsu, but now it's your primary goal. It is your goal. That's what you want.
I don't know.
So here's like, I'm 37, so you're like, I can compete and I can do all this now, but I do know that window is closing. Like, I think, man, if I get really good shape, I can compete with some good guys. I mean, the chances are not in my favor.
You're also a black belt. I'm not. That's another variable in all this.
But just in general, right now I'm at an age where like I can still do things that I think I can look back and be proud of. And in 3-4 years, it's so much harder. So I feel like I try to push a little bit more now because I do know the window is closing. And at your age, I don't think that reality hit me quite yet until like 36, 37. I'm like, well, Justin Gaethje gave me hope. But it's just like
the great American dream.
How much longer can I go out and compete and like, you know that the best days are behind you? Like, they probably are. But like right now, I still can compete and I'm really dedicated. I can still beat young guys. I still beat them like pretty frequently.
Well, grappling is the difference though, because like grappling is where you can. I mean, the whole antithesis of jiu-jitsu was like for the smaller, more meek individual to defend themselves against a bigger, stronger opponent. So I would say that you're in the one category of sport where knowledge exponentially helps you in ways that in other sports it would not.
I feel like in the past, that element
is eroding though.
Is eroding for sure.
These kids are now getting just wild.
Man, you look at like the kids' pants and they're doing stuff. I'm like, holy
dude, I know. I was amazed at like some of these like local shows that I was at.
It was good.
You got blue belts going for like heel hooks and stuff like that. I was like, bro, this is wild now, man. In an impressive way. I'm genuinely impressed.
It's scary because like coach in Dakota, she's 30, right? Just entered Masters Division. And brown belt. Sometimes can compete at adult. You're fine. I think females even have their leg. But then there's a new person that she's top of the division, and then there's like this 18-year-old just entered, or whatever, young person just entered the division. I'm like, that's fucking scary because they're really good. You know, like
some new 22-year-old.
They're really
phenom
good.
Prospect.
It's not the same, yeah. And it's just like then you see the young person enter some of the division. Oh shit! What I do AGF the other weekend, and I did the pro division. All of a sudden, there's like some 18-year-old, and I'm like, oh fuck!
Protect
like,
my
you
knees.
Don't know. Like maybe I can grown man, which he was small, and I ended up.
Yeah, I was gonna say 18 is a little young.
And he was small, So I was able to like physically control, but like technically they're really, really good. Like they're better than me.
And here's the thing, Father Time's against you, brother. He's 18. You might see him again in 2 years, and he's gonna be a
That's
fundamentally
exactly like
different
last
guy.
week, and I injured my knee. My knee popped one time. No, I don't think anything's torn, but I've been training this week. It's so slow. I remember this like exact situation a few years ago. It'd be 1 or 2 days. Now it's like 8 or 9. Then I'm scared to go back because I'm like,
Dude, how about this? Let me put it in respect. When I was like 21, 22, we'd have a fight on a Saturday,
yeah,
like an
You train on
MMA
Sunday,
fight,
yeah.
and then we would train on Sunday.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? It's like now, if I have a tough wrestling class where I'm in there with the kids, I gotta take the next day off. Like I'm not doing anything with the kids on the mats. Like I'm sore, I'm beat up. Granted, I will also state that perspective's a bitch. And when you would train, when I would train, I remember when I saw you at St. Charles in May, we were at fundamentally different, like physically, mentally, emotionally, where we were at. Like now, if I train hard 3 or 4 days a week, I'm like, cool, I did good. Back then, 3 or 4 days a week, like if I did 3 or 4 days of training in a week, that was my off week. That was the slow week. We were training 6 days a week, and even on the 7th day, we'd still do cardio or strength and conditioning. It's just a different lifestyle back then. I'm just not that animal anymore, brother.
Do you think the kids in this generation they figured it out?
No.
Still
I think no. I think that they are gaining in a lot of, I think where they are gaining is in that library of content. I think guys like Mason, I think guys like that will have just a wealth of knowledge to tap into. I think medicine and all these things, recoverables and all that, have never been better than they were, right? So I think they have a lot of going for them.
Do you do all this stuff? Red light, cryo. Do you do any of those things?
I think, I want to be careful how I say this.
I think lots of
I think
bullshit.
all of that is like placebo bullshit.
Okay, we're on the same page.
Yeah, I think. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like,
There's probably something to
I
something.
like a massage.
I do. That's one. I get one a week, probably.
I think there's something to be said about going from like a sauna to a cold plunge, like extreme heat, extreme cold. But those were things that were like 30 years ago. We knew these things. Yeah. I think all this other shit now, like red light, dry sauna versus. I think there's like. You ever hear that quote? You get 90% of the effect from 10% of the effort. Yeah. I think now therapeutics are going into that 90% effort for 10% effect. Maybe red light helps. Maybe all this other stuff helps, but it's like 1 or 2% versus going into a sauna and then jumping into a cold pool is going to do 90% of the recovery for you.
Just from my experience, what I think is like now, sometimes I'll compete out of town. I'll go to like a sauna or a spa. And as opposed to the physical, what it does is just relaxing.
Yeah.
And like not thinking, just sitting in a hot tub or whatever for a long time and just relaxing as opposed to like, I'm getting heat shock proteins that are going to do that. No.
I think there's something to that too, because I'll tell you what, like whenever my back spasms a little bit, like I have a very sit down job and it's very different from my body, which has been very active its whole life, right? I used to take hot baths exclusively to cut weight, like very hot water, submerge myself up to my chest, and I'd lose like 2 pounds in 20 minutes. You know what I mean? Now, sometimes I'll do hot baths specifically to like loosen up my muscles. Like I'll get into the bath, and I'm not making it nearly as hot to sweat or whatever. I'm finding that there were some therapeutic aspects even to our weight cutting and all this other stuff. I mean, the sauna is a prime example. Yeah. But to your point about like, I think what it is hyper winners will do anything. I just had this conversation with Evan Elder, actually. Evan Elder, I'm going to use this quote. This could be on the record because he wouldn't mind. He was putting so much emphasis on trying to get this like 1-2% efficiency from his body.
I've seen it.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And he was like running himself ragged trying to get like every little percentage. He's like, dude, I've now realized, I think it's probably because he hit 30 years old himself. You know what I mean? He's like 29, 30. He's like, I'm getting 90% of the effort from the shit that I've been. He goes, I know how to fight. I know how to train. Now it's about recovery. And the stuff that I do for recovery is what I know works. And I was like, Evan.
I think massage works. And I don't even think I think it's a mental thing where I can turn off my mind for a little bit.
I think massage, I think chiropractors in some scenarios can help. I know I like an adjustment. But all that other fucking shit they do.
I've seen no evidence that it does.
It does for me. Pop my neck, feels good. Feels good for 15 minutes, but that 15 minutes feels good.
I think like maybe just life in general, I have a little anxiety. And if I can go get a massage once a week, I feel like it helps a lot.
Yeah.
Especially like the
90-minute though, not an hour. 90-minute.
90-minute is
and this is going to sound very bad, but like get a big hulking guy and tell him deep tissue. Whenever I go get a massage, I get like a 200-pound motherfucker, and he's like digging his elbow into me. When I leave the massage, I feel like I was in a workout. But the next morning, I feel great, dude. I'm like, oh my God, this is all so like loose and great. Whenever I get like someone who's like 120 pounds and they're struggling to get into like my knots, I'm like, this is a waste of time. No homo. Get you a big hulking man to rub your body.
Rub you and make you feel like you got.
He's got to be over 200 pounds. Hairier the better. For some reason, he's using olive oil and not lotion.
Baby oil.
I think Johnson & Johnson's stock price went down whenever Diddy got arrested.
I heard he just got in a fight in jail. Hear that?
That sounds slippery.
Slippery.
If there's one person I don't want to have like an altercation with physically, it's like someone who wants to get into my holes. I'm good on that one.
I was going to say something. But
you're choking him out with a rear naked. He's like, I'm about to come.
You're talking about the recovery thing. I was going to try.
Thank you for transitioning back.
Right. I got to change subjects fast. It's getting slippery. I've seen people get obsessed with recovery too, where I think it's a detriment.
I think it's like
they get obsessed, like, oh, you gotta have this rest day, and then they're not pushing themselves, and they become almost too fixated on recovering the best they can that they're taking away from hard training.
They want to ensure that they're in the best physical position to do like this.
Well, it's a popular thing, all the different recovery methods. So I think people naturally think, I gotta do this, and they get like crazy about that too, and it hinders the other thing. Or it's just, one thing that makes me mad is like jiu-jitsu people like, oh, I'm not rolling today. This is like my recovery. I'm like, you don't have to roll 100%. I'm not
just
saying
flow. Just like, hey, I just want to flow.
But I think that recovery mindset has become so like ingrained in everything.
Almost like a detriment to them.
Yeah, I do.
Is it that bad?
I think so.
From like what you've seen, damn.
Yeah.
Granted, I'm not around athletes that much anymore.
Not everyone, but I think I do see it. I think that the recovery stuff has become so popular, people try to replace that with hard work, and you can't.
I'll tell you what I see is like everyone's trying to become a content creator through their like athletics now. Like this is kind of ironic that I'm saying this because like we have a podcast, right? So like we're literally going to post this on Instagram and stuff like that. But like I remember back in the day, we would just go to the gym, train, and go home. Maybe we would take like a team photo if there goes a bunch of people and it was a good round, like holy shit, work was put in today, and we would tag everybody. You know what I mean? Yeah. That was it. Now it's like everybody's got like a little road mic. Everybody's like the tribe, the
lot
fucking
of mics.
Yeah, it's just like,
or
dude,
people
just go
making
in there
their
and put some
protein
work
shakes.
in.
I don't know. Maybe these people that do that, they get something out of it. Maybe it's sponsored. I don't know, but I see a lot of people advertising products.
Whenever I see someone with sponsored athlete in their tag, I instantly think they're a loser. I really do. Because like if you just like had a good job and made more money, you could just buy the product. I don't need to be sponsored.
Or
I can just
you're
buy
actually
it.
an employee for that product. Or
That's
it's like they give you 15% off if you post a bunch. It sounds kind of like you are an employee for them, an advertising employee for them.
Or they don't even pay you. Like they don't sponsor you. Actually, they're just giving you some free stuff. Yeah. Dude, you're at that point. Like I don't know.
I've had gi companies do that. Like if you post this, I'm like,
we'll give you a free gi.
I'm not your employee.
Yeah.
I'm like, if I like your stuff. Yeah, but like if I'm required to do it, it sounds like I'm more of an employee.
Okay, I will say that's a good caveat. If I believe in the product, but here's the thing, like you'll never have to get me to talk about whiskey. I like whiskey. Everybody fucking knows it, right? I don't tell you which brands or anything like that because like to me, honestly, I like it all. But like let's say if it was like Dr. Pepper, big Dr. Pepper fan, love that soda, right? I don't need Dr. Pepper to come up to me and be like, we'll sponsor you if you make if you follow me enough, you'll probably see me drinking something like that. Like it's a product I'm naturally around. And more importantly, I don't need the incentive to push that, if that makes sense. So like my whole thing is, I think authenticity is the greatest form of marketing. Like if you came up to me without me even talking about it, and you're like, oh man, dude, I was rolling in this fucking gi. I've been in gis my whole life. This is really good. Key, You're just speaking about this truly serendipitously. That is a greater form of marketing than if I see a reel that you have where you're like, hey guys, Kirk Huff here.
Check out this gi.
Yeah, check out this gi. By the way, sponsored athlete.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to sound
You're
like
pushing
an
the
asshole.
product that you're sponsored by. I got questions.
Yeah. And I want to be careful how I say this. I think that, in today's day and age, marketing is difficult. And I think direct to sources like athletes is actually the way to do it. I just think that it needs to be a little bit more curtailed and a little bit more nuance. It can't just be like, we're going to message 10 people and, hey, use this code and we'll give you 15% off.
There's a lot of that, right?
Yeah, and there's a lot of that right now.
And I'm like, I'm not that invested of like getting a 10% discount. Like, okay, oh, you really like this protein and I get 10% off, I'm going to go buy it. I'm like, I don't care. I'd probably just go to the store and pick out the one that I know as opposed to getting 10% off.
Yeah, or I'll just go to the store. If I'm like that hurt for money, I'll just go with whatever on sale, and I'll probably get a better discount from that, 30% off.
100%.
Yeah, so it's like I went to Aldi and I got the yogurt there over Schnucks, and I just got...
But it must work, right? Companies keep doing it.
No, I think it works in the sense of there's no investment on their end, so why wouldn't they do it?
There's
Kirk,
just net gain.
I'll sponsor you. Hey, make a post about Easy Talk. I'm not going to give you any money. If no one ends up watching it from that, I didn't spend any money. And if one person watches, I'll give you 15% discount on a shirt if you buy it. And that 15% discount is actually my profit margin. So actually, you're now going to pump my product at literally no cost. Yeah, and then we're like, well, if companies wouldn't do it if it doesn't work. No, the companies are going to do it because there's no effort on their end. Yeah. If one person comes in and buys product, it's a net positive.
That makes sense.
We were saying about steroids like being a -5. Well, what if my entry is 0?
Yeah.
Anything above 0 is better.
Yeah. That's why you're a finance guy. You put that together real sharp.
Return on investment. What if there's no investment? What if I just made a... you know what? I'll try that actually. Maybe I'll reach out to like 5 athletes and be like, hey, pump my podcast, and if we get so many views, I'll send you a shirt. Like,
do you have shirts?
I bet you. Yeah, I do. You want a shirt?
Yeah, I'll take a shirt.
I got some in the trunk of my car. What size are you?
Large.
Yeah, I think I probably have one for you. Anyway, I'm not trying to knock anybody, and the original conversation was about like therapeutics, right? I think the shit that's worked, I think the shit that's worked works, and I think what'll happen is people will always try to find a way to monetize something that already exists because they will try to create a niche. So like if you want to sell, I don't know, dude, saunas, right? The industry is set. You're basically going to go into something that's already set up, and you're not going to be able to change your price much from everybody else because how much different is what you're selling? But if I got a red light sauna and I can, fund some medical establishment to do some research and say like, actually red light is more effective than the steam sauna. Well, now I can charge a premium. Now I can create my own little niche, and now I can do all these other things. And that's what you're seeing in medicine left and right.
You don't think they're groundbreaking medical advances?
Yeah, groundbreaking medical procedures.
Red light, I have seen good studies on like acne scarring. That's about it. But as far as like penetrating muscle,
can I be honest with you? You're probably be better off just going a week on vacation to like Daytona Beach, step in that salt water, and then go lay out on a tan, because that's going to dry out your skin and kill all the bullshit inside you, like on your skin. You're going to have a better therapeutic, you're going to have a better, not therapeutic, but you're going to have a better outcome in your skin health, overall skin health, than acne scars and a red light. I'll bet all the money in my bank account. Because I don't believe that these answers result from like technologies that already imitate answers we already have. Just go out to the sun.
Related though, these therapeutics that you're talking about, that's kind of, they're doing the same thing, right? Like it's like whatever new peptide comes out, this helps.
That's different.
That's a new market.
Well, the reason why peptide's different is it's not a foreign thing. It is a way to get your body to just produce more of a thing it's already producing.
I took the.
That's a little slightly different, right? Instead of me injecting testosterone in my system, I'm injecting a vitamin or
peptide. Right?
Yeah,
peptide.
Not even. It's like a subsect of, I'm trying to think of like
research chemical from my lab rat.
Yeah, I want to be careful how I say this. It's something that is already existent in my body, but maybe like a little bit more strategic. And it's basically just going to change the hormonal balances of my body to produce more of the thing.
I don't think all peptides are like that, right?
No, I mean...
I took the SLU PP332. Have you heard that one?
No.
That's like the one.
What does that do? It
says it makes your mitochondria work better. And I do, and maybe it's a placebo effect. Do you feel
noticeable?
I feel like it did improve.
Well, the mitochondria is the engine of the cell. So like, what is that? When you say like it increases the mitochondrial effectiveness?
Like
Are you burning fat?
Yeah.
Okay, so like fat.
It burns more. That powerhouse of the cell is a little bit in the overdrive, which is all scary. It's like, but it was developed at SLU, so I was like, I'll try it. It's from St. Louis, you know.
Oh yeah, it's my own backyard.
If I get cancer from it, I'll just go down the SLU.
I want to be careful. It's not as if I don't think that there can be, advancements in technology for medicine. I think that's absolutely the case. But what I am also saying is just beware of like pseudoscience technologies that are just trying to create niches in existing environments. I don't know the difference between red light saunas and traditional saunas. But if one is $4,000 and the other one's $600, something tells me that am I getting 500% better sauna for my red light sauna?
Probably not. It's probably a huge markup. Especially with the peptides. You see all these things coming out. A lot of people in jiu-jitsu take them for all different things. But how do I know it's real? So you send me a little vial with powder in it.
Like how do you know that it's the actual
Yeah, it
product?
comes from a lab and it's all on the black market, right? Because none of them are approved.
The answer is you don't.
I hope this isn't arsenic, you know?
Well, not even arsenic, but like nowadays, like, dude, like fentanyl. Like
that'd be bad.
Yeah, it can be like 99% of the product you thought you bought, 1% fentanyl. Now you OD. It's wild. I don't know. That's the other thing too, man. When I was in high school, when I was in college, we used to fucking party, and the worst thing that you'd have to like worry about is like someone spiking a drink, right? Like with a Rufinol or something like that. But like even if that happened, you basically had a bad night, and like your boys would take care of you, or if you're a girl, like your girls would take care of you. Nowadays, it's like you guys can be partying, and like someone's just got a joint laced with like a little bit of fentanyl. Now 3 kids are dead.
Yeah,
you can't even like have those stupid parties and.
I'm a little bit older than you. That shit didn't hit my generation really. Like if kids a few years younger than me, it seems like it hit hard. I don't know if it was our area or what time or whatever, but like the kids your age, I don't know how many kids there were a few years that I knew that fentanyl killed a bunch of them.
Really?
And I'm not trying to say, I played hockey growing up, and a lot of them OD'd on fentanyl.
When you were in high school?
It was kind of after when I was in college and maybe there.
Dude, when I was in high school, I didn't know fentanyl was a thing until 4 years ago.
Really?
Yeah, my whole high school life, my whole college life, the worst we had to worry about was like getting too drunk and getting alcohol poisoning, or someone spiked your drink. But like we never had to worry about any of this other shit.
Yeah, I mean,
I also didn't take a whole lot of pills. I will caveat this. Like when someone gave me like ecstasy or something like that, a lot of times I was like, no, I'm good, because alcohol was one thing, weed was one thing, mushrooms was one thing, because I could see it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if it was because like, that looks like a mushroom, so at least I know I'm eating a mushroom, right? With pills, you can, like, to your point, you can tell me this is Tylenol, okay, and it's ecstasy. Or you can tell me it's ecstasy and it's fent. I don't fucking know. I have no idea. And I never trusted anybody enough to take that chance.
That's like, I'm not trying to sound like a hero here, but that's one factor of why I wanted to put a jiu-jitsu gym in Arnold, is like the kids younger than me. So many were getting in, and I'm like, man, maybe if like there was some cool shit kids could do other than that, that would like help push that away. I wouldn't say I was like super close to them, but it's like I was friends and their younger brothers and their sisters. I don't know a lot of them. But
really?
Yeah.
Holy shit, I didn't know that.
Arnold, I mean, there's some rougher areas.
Did you grow up in Arnold like when you were a kid?
Yeah. Then I moved to St. Charles, but then I knew that fentanyl stuff hit kind of the area quite a bit. Are you from Afton?
So I grew up in Afton, but I'm not from Afton. We came to Afton, Missouri when I was like 5 years old. So I was like 1 year old when we left. I wasn't even 1 year old when we left Albania. I was about 2.5 when we left Greece. And I was about like 4.5, 5 years old when we left Florida, moved to St. Louis, lived in Afton ever since, until I eventually like moved out, got my own thing, you know what I mean? Lived in Chesterfield for a little bit. Now we live in South City. But what I was trying to say though is I don't know if that'll necessarily, here's the thing, the truth of the matter is like, feel free to say I'm wrong on this one. I don't think that there's any avenue that will result in kids not experimenting with drugs. No. Or like
too fun,
or going to stupid parties. It's not even about the fun aspect. It's about the unknown. Yeah. I don't know what alcohol is like. I want to try this. Oh, okay. This thing is supposed to like separate me from my conscience. Okay, we'll try it. Dude, I've done a bunch of shit now. Like my buddy synthesizes DMT, and like we'll do some DMT trips with him. That's great. Fucking 30 minutes of like, I go into a different atmosphere. You know what I mean? It's awesome. But like what I'm trying to say is like, you know, if it wasn't this one particular person synthesizing it, I would never do it. Like you would come up to me like, I got this guy, I trust him with my life, let's do it, Ariane. I'd be like, Kirk, that sounds great. I'm good.
Yeah.
Because I need to know these things prior. And in a way, like when I was little, I didn't have this. Like we kind of experimented on all this other stuff. But like nowadays, like one of the things that scares the shit out of me more than anything as a father is like when my daughter gets to that age and she wants to party. When I was younger and when we used to go to people's house parties, I used to think like, what bad parents are letting us drink in their basement? I'm telling you right now, I'm going to be that fucking dad. You can party. You guys can do whatever the fuck you want. It has to be under my roof. And I want to see all this shit. Like who's bringing alcohol, who's bringing weed. Let me see all this other stuff. Because I want to make sure that like you guys are going to be stupid. You guys are going to do all this stupid shit. But I want to make sure none of you die from any of this. I want to make sure that like everybody, even if they has like a horrible experience, they can wake up in the morning and be like, wow, I don't want to do that again. Because nowadays it's not like that. And it's, I think it's a somewhat shame. You shouldn't have to fear if you want to go out and be stupid, dying. But granted, you can make the argument that that's already been the case with drunk driving and all that other stuff. But
related topic. I saw some friends post this on social media about posting pictures of their kid on social media.
It's a slippery slope because I do it too.
And the fact that like pedophiles are using it though, good morning. Isn't most of the cases like that it's a family member that
oh, I don't know about that.
Like, but it's just like, is someone looking at a picture of your kid and how are they taking that picture and getting them involved in
here's the
porn?
problem.
I don't know how that
Here's
works.
the problem with what you're thinking is because you're probably not a pedophile and you probably don't think like these people do.
But how would I take a picture of your kid and like turn it into porn? Like I don't
with AI nowadays, like
that's what they do.
I don't know. Personally, I don't know. Like I fully acknowledge that with any seemingly senseless act, the internet now and people on the internet can get a lot from that. Like so you could take a photo and be like, hey, me and my girlfriend are out and about, you know what I mean? And someone could like fucking spot a tree in the background and geolocate it with the trajectory of the sun and be like, based on that, you're 2 miles within this radius. And they might be right.
How often does that happen?
I would say that the internet is undefeated. So let's not test it.
I mean, I don't know.
For you and me, we probably don't have to worry about that. Yeah. But like for celebrities and stuff like that, where like millions of people are doing, they probably do have to worry about that. I remember when I had Karma on here, the ex-porn star, forgive me. She was telling me like off the record.
I'm sure.
Like she has to be very careful of what she posts and how she posts. And most of the edits she does on her photos now are actually to blur stuff in the background. So like, let's say you take a picture and there's a sign behind you. Let's just say like Joe's Crab Shack. Yeah. Well, how many Joe's Crab Shack are there in the US? And I know that she lives in Florida. So like how many Joe's Crab Shacks are in Florida? And I know that she's in Southern Florida, not Northern Florida. So we can already cut out. You could start getting very fucking close to where she is just from a picture. So you do have to worry about that. But
so is that why kids? Is that why people block out their kids' faces?
I think they block out their kids' faces for like with this thought of here's the unsexy truth. I hate to say it this way. If someone wants to cause harm to you, you can't stop them.
Right.
The only way you can stop them is to be prepared. Yeah. I have guns. I know how to fight. This is my greatest form of deterrent. Because if someone wants to like find out where I live, I can't, dude, I'm pretty much sure like you can just go on like any website where we've set up LLCs and you could probably figure out my address from that. Yeah. Like, I hate to say it this way, but like it's not difficult. But if you show up to my fucking house and I don't fucking know you and you're trying to get close to my daughter, I'll shoot you dead. That's my deterrent. Yeah. So what I think people need to stop worrying about is blocking out their fucking kids' faces and start getting really deadly in defending their tribe. Because when enough people, this is the problem, is deterrence is not enough because people can get away with this shit. I'll tell you this right now, Kirk. If anybody tries to harm my family, I'll be going to court for murder before I try to take them to court for whatever it is that they were trying to do. 100%.
Yeah.
I will be judge, jury, and executioner, and then a jury of my peers can judge me accordingly. But I am not going to be a victim, and none of my loved ones will be. That's not happening.
Man, I can bring up.
And if enough people do shit like that, I hate to say it this way, the problem is people don't like. People fuck around because they don't find out, or the system doesn't do justice, or like a Cain Velasquez where he finds out that his son was being touched, or I think it was his daughter or his son was being touched by someone. He goes after them and then he gets prison sentence. You know what?
We shot the wrong guy, right?
I don't care.
You can't shoot an innocent person.
Is he innocent? Is he innocent?
The guy that was with him?
He's in a car running away from a father because your son was a pedophile. Is he innocent?
We don't know the facts, but like He can't randomly. I get where you're going.
I get what you're saying too. What I'm saying is, like, if you know your son's a pedophile and you're driving him
I would
away
do the
from
same
me,
thing. Don't get me wrong.
Sorry, brother.
But he did have
It's not friendly fire.
He did have to face something.
What I'm saying is, I wouldn't even let this motherfucker near my kid. And if he was near my kid and I saw that,
He should have had a better plan.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
I don't trust anybody. I'll go a step further. Let me tell you this. I don't trust like anyone. Like, you'll never see me alone in a room with any woman that's not my wife, ever. Because I don't even want to trust that, like, that person could say something that happened and now I'm guilty by association. I don't trust anybody alone with my daughter other than my wife. Not even family members. Not even family members. I don't trust anybody. The only person I trust, truly trust, is my wife. That's it. Everybody else, I love you guys. But, like, if my daughter was here, there'll never be an instance where, like, I'm out of this room and my daughter's in here with one of you or both of you.
I do the same thing.
Yeah, but that's what I think. Yeah. That's what I think needs to happen. So instead of worrying about blacking out your kid's face, how about you worry about like how active they are and who they're active with and all this other stuff? We're getting to the point now because we take our daughter to preschool where they're talking about play dates. I'm like, yeah, sure, they can come over. Well, you know, you could drop your daughter off. No. If we do a play date and we're coming over, I'm hanging out.
Yeah.
I'm not dropping my 4-year-old off. You're fucking insane.
Yeah, 4-year-old's pretty young.
Not even that, but like, let's say my daughter was 13 and they want to do a slumber party. I'm sleeping at your house.
I'm sure when your daughter's 13,
I'll be that fucking weird
she'll
guy.
She'll probably be upset at you for that.
That's fine.
Yeah.
You want to know what my daughter might be? Annoyed with me, upset with me, whatever, angry at me. But you want to know what she will never be? A victim. And until she's of a certain age, that responsibility falls on me as the parent. Mm-hmm. That's my responsibility. Until she's like 17, 18, 19, and she can start taking care of herself. But she'll know how to use a gun. She'll know how to maintain her firearm. She'll know how to grapple. She'll be left to her own devices, and I can die knowing that she'll be fine.
Do you ever worry that over insight will lead them to push
No, because
away?
I'll educate her on why. I don't believe in parenting from mount on high. And I can tell you this right now because I was just actually having this conversation off the record. I know that this is the correct way of parenting. I never tell my daughter because I said so. No, like I'll talk to my daughter. Mm-hmm. And my daughter's not even 4 years old, and we're having conversations of like, well, Daddy, I can't have chocolate because it's late and I'm going to not fall asleep if I eat chocolate. Thanks, baby. You can have chocolate in the morning. Okay, thank you. Daddy, I want a second bottle of milk. Baby, you can't have a second bottle of milk, but I want one. Baby, you're going to pee the bed if you have a second bottle of milk. Okay, it's not just like, no, because I said no. Just talk to your kids.
Yeah.
Just talk to. I have a relationship with my daughter. I talk to my daughter. And some people will be like, oh, she's not even 4 yet. Yeah, maybe she's going to forget a lot of this shit or not even like, you know. But what I'm saying is I'm getting the desired outcome that I want. I believe in communication because I'm 33 years old and I don't feel any different from when I was 15. I'm still the same kid.
I was having this random thought the other day, kind of on this subject. What about, I was thinking of all these things that happen in the world and like, it seems like they're more prevalent, right? Public executions.
Well, can we take one step back? Because
Okay.
I actually don't think that it's a fundamentally more dangerous world than it was when we were growing up.
Yeah.
I just think that it's because of
more.
technology,
Yeah.
it's just like always in our face.
Right,
And
right.
here's the other variable about what you were saying about parenting. The other variable is how much shit did you do that could have gone bad but didn't?
Right, we would just go outside.
We just got lucky, dude.
Yeah.
So like there is this subsect of like everything can go right and something can happen bad
Right.
and you're unlucky, or the exact opposite. Everything can go wrong. And boy, were you lucky that it didn't make you pay. My job as a parent is not to protect my daughter from everything. My job as a parent is to prevent life-altering mistakes. And I consider life-altering mistakes some older guy taking advantage of her. I consider life-altering mistakes some person her age overpowering her. These are all life-altering things. So I'm not trying to prevent her from like every scrape and bruise and all these other things. And there's going to be a lot of shit that happens to her that's going to be like traumatic. But my job as a father is to prevent the things that will like, you know, you're on this path and if this happens, you go left or right. I got to make sure to prevent those as much as possible. That's my job, not everything else.
Yeah, but I was...
Sorry, but we were talking about...
Public executions. I was like, okay, we had these pedophiles seem like more prevalent than ever. And I was just like, what if people in real time...
You'd lose half of Congress.
Yeah, this it will never happen, right?
It'll never happen.
Well, I kind of was thinking this because what the murders in Idaho, and they had the firing squad.
Yeah.
I was like, Will that actually ever happen?
Yeah, I'll tell you this. Like, when was crime at like one of the all-time lows in American history?
I have no idea. I'm gonna guess late 50s.
It was roughly the time of like the West's expansion and like the Great Frontier and all these other things. And the vast minority of crimes were committed actually as like minor offenses. And the factor for that was a couple of things. Societal norms, the culture of Americans back then, the fact that like life was just so much harder.
They're
there.
fighting so many other elements,
And a lot of the interactions would actually be helpful. You know what I mean? But also the fact that everyone was armed. Every family had a gun in the house and all these other things. Kids were. I'm not saying that guns are the answer, but what I'm saying is threat levels are deterrences. Have you ever heard that quote of the guy that was like incarcerated for being a pedophile, and they were questioning him like, "Well, how would you choose your victims?" or something like that. One of the things
Look
he
for a
would
weak
say,
father.
he's like, "Well, I would look for fathers if like their fathers were around, if their mothers were around, if their fathers were around, then I'd see like if they were like muscular or built." So like, yeah, be the muscular, manly, fucking toxic masculine, whatever I have to be a deterrent for someone to take advantage of my kids. If I have a son later on, it goes the same way. It's not gender, it's like not gender specific, but neutral. You know what I mean? Yeah, dude. And it's not so much about public executions, but I think when people start to feel like if this goes bad, what'll happen to me? And if that is like resulting in the end of your life, because I will kill you if you try to come after my daughter.
So like fear is a deterrent.
Yes, it is. I would make the argument that it's our only deterrent. That's the reason why you don't do bad shit more than you think. The reason why you don't steal is if you get caught. Now was the Twinkie at the gas station worth all of this? It's $1, but it's more of the thing. So like the repercussions for our actions are not a slap on the hand. They're genuine. Like you're gonna go to jail. You'll lose a portion of your life. My argument is I go a step further. I would rather go to jail and you're dead for trying to touch my daughter than the other way around. You're not touching my daughter. You'll die. And then I'll go to jail. I'll spend that time in there. That's fine with me. That's where I'm at. And if enough motherfuckers do and act like I do, you get less pedophiles in the world. That's what happens. I also think that there's like things that these tech companies can do. Truly. I like, you're telling me in the world of algorithms and language learning models, you can't pick up on like predators?
You'd think, right?
Kirk.
You would think that'd be pretty simple.
Kirk, it's not hard.
But what are they gaining out of not stopping pedophilia?
Like why haven't they done it? Because then if they start to do it, then that becomes their responsibility, and people don't want to be responsible. Because right now they have clauses in the in
I'm more
legislation.
sinister than that. I think that they have to be benefiting from the way it is.
No, I wouldn't. Maybe. I don't know for certain either.
This shit goes deep, right?
I like to believe in the greed of man because I can predict the greed of man, and I don't think it has like anything like underlying. I think it's genuinely like if Meta or if X and all these companies started to actively police like interpersonal messages and like stuff like that, well then Congress is going to be coming in and saying like, well, you've set the precedent now. You have the technology, you can do it. So if someone does get preyed upon, now you're responsible. I think that's what it is.
Okay, how do you feel about those and the Dustin Lampros guy?
Give me before we talk about that. Out of curiosity, I mean, do you think that this is like more mischievous? Do you think that they can do this at any time? They just choose not to? Because you were kind of alluding to that. I'm just curious.
The way the things are happening, if they could police it, I would think that somehow they're benefiting
monetarily, like
somehow, some way. I think
have you seen some of these pedophiles?
If it was
losers.
If it was profitable to go after them, they would. If it's profitable not to go after them, they would. Yeah. I'm kind of like follow the money on this, like where.
But on
would they do it for the goodness of society?
I think that there's a direct correlation to lonely loser men and preying upon girls and stuff like that. Like, I want to be careful how I say this.
If we put a bounty on them, and then the tech companies could collect the bounty, maybe. But
I think that there should be a law passed that says, if you see a pedophile in the act of trying to groom or prey upon a girl, that killing them is not against the law. That I can shoot you dead, and when the police come to me, I'd be like, hey, look at these messages. And they're like, well, nothing to see here. If you start doing that, you get less of this.
So that's
overnight.
That's like the guys
Overnight.
like Dustin Lampros that do these things where they catch people. How do you feel?
Here's the problem with that, and I want to be careful how I say this. Like, I think that they're doing the Lord's work in some way,
Right.
because they're bringing to light how prevalent this is and like these pedophiles and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But the problem is, at the end of the day, if you don't have, and this is why I don't believe in the system, because if you don't have like a judicial system that will prosecute them and send them to jail, what are we doing for? A lot of these guys will get caught, and then they're court dates are like 3 or 4 months in the future, and then they might get their case dismissed on the grounds because a police officer wasn't on the grounds when they did it.
Yeah.
And then the guy, and here's the problem with what Dustin does, because it's not like law enforcement that does this.
All right.
Anyone with a really good lawyer can get out of that overnight. You want to know what they have to say? Well, my client knew that this person was, underage and that they were assigned with this thing, and he only did it so that they could produce content.
That's
All you have to do is say, actually, I knew it, and I was trying to tell them, but they wouldn't let me. I knew it all along, officer. That's the problem when you allow for vigilante justice, which is funny because I was talking about vigilante justice, but I'm not talking about for repercussions of actions. But like the problem is when like law enforcement doesn't take it into their own considerations and their own hands, you don't have the jurisprudence, you don't have the proper channels in place to then execute proper prosecution.
Yeah.
Even if you're in a county where like maybe your prosecuting attorney fucking sucks and they're like super liberal and they're like, actually it's a sexual productivity, whatever, you know what I mean?
He's a minor
attracted person.
Man, the first time
we take those off the map where I'm from, but Albania's not right about everything.
God, I'm trying this like what I watched some of these videos.
Also, forgive me because I get a little bit inflammatory on this one, but like if there's one thing I think is truly heinous on this planet, it's preying on children.
Oh yeah.
Like it doesn't even have to be sexual. It could be like grooming to wait till they get older, or it can be like ruining through a traumatic experience the most innocent part of their lives. Because I like to think when I was little, like we were broke and like there was a lot of things that kind of like forced me to grow up faster than I would have liked. But I was never in danger. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I was never in real danger. We were broke and we didn't have all the things we wanted, but I was never in danger. And I think that if there's any one task that we have collectively, I do agree on this one, it is to like foster the next generation. Like, let's say you have a kid, okay? It's my job as a man to make sure that if you're like away from your kid, I need to watch your kid as if it's mine. And I need to make sure that like if someone comes up to your kid like, hey, do you know that? Like, sir, hey, buddy, do you know that guy? Like, I think the problem we have as a society is like we've started to like distance ourselves from one another. When you see a kid, any kid, it is your responsibility as an adult to protect that child as if it's your own. That's what I think like we need to start doing. And if enough people start doing that, any kid is safe around me because I'll treat them as if they're mine. And if I see some shit that I don't fucking like, I get up and I speak.
But we got to think 70s, 80s. Do you remember like neighborhoods, kids going out and play and you all kind of knew neighbors? I don't know my neighbors.
You don't have kids. I know my neighbors now.
True.
I learned all my neighbors when my kid went to preschool. I didn't know my neighbors.
But I do think people like disconnect from each other because they stay inside their own.
Yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying because like we're all inside with like internet and stuff like that. But what I'm saying is when you forgive me for saying it this way, you don't have a reason to go outside.
True. You're
Do
right.
you go outside and knock on your neighbor's door and go, hey, buddy, what you got going on? Want to hang out?
The only thing I read is like we had a neighbor that was suffering from dementia that was like caught on the Ring camera like going around. We'd like call our family and be like, hey, there's something up.
Yeah.
But like that's it. But like there's a part of me I'm like, do I reach out to do anything about this?
You should.
Yeah, we did, but
Yeah.
it was like there's a part of me like maybe I just see if this happens again.
I always err on the help.
All right.
Now, if something looks sketchy, I help with my gun in my pocket. Yeah. If something doesn't look sketchy, you know what I mean? Like all these other things. Like, I guess what I'm trying to say is, like a lot of the answers to a lot of our woes start with internally. You're absolutely right. You probably don't know a whole lot of your neighbors. But I hate to say it this way, like how much effort do you put in learning your neighbors?
No, I don't.
You know what I mean? By the way, I was the same way. Like I said, it wasn't until our daughter went to preschool and then we met all the other kids that went to preschool and their families. And I realized I know like my whole neighborhood now. Now whenever I'm walking the dog, hey, what's going on? Because of my daughter. But if I didn't have my daughter, I'd be the same as you. I'd be going to work, come home, go into my house, get on the computer, play my video games, pass out for the night, do it again tomorrow.
There's also like, I've thought of situations like when I was coaching girls wrestling. I remember when it first happened and we were sitting in a gym and there's all these young female, 13, 14, and all the coaches are men.
Oh, yeah.
All right. And I was like, we're going to regret this. I'm like, here's how I got the job. They go, we're going to start a girls team. You'll get the same money. There's actually like half the many tournaments. I was like, okay, I'm in.
Yeah.
But
Same pay.
and then
half
I
the
showed up
effort.
and then I was like, the second year I did, I go, we need to hire a female. Because I'm like, I remember like, I'm like, this is the only sport where I can think of there's tons of female athletes and they're all being coached by men. And by far the majority have no bad intent, but I'm like, there's an open window for people to move in on this.
Well, let me go. I agree with you. First of all, you're not wrong, but let me go a step further on this one. We also have like no female coaches, right?
Yeah.
So we also have a female team. We have no female coaches. But what we want a female coach for more than anything is to eliminate even the perception of something like that. So like when we had some girls come over to state, the girls have to stay in hotels, right? Like we check on the boys and they weigh in front of us and like they get down in their boxers. We can't, I would not want my 14-year-old daughter to be getting down to her.
Now they weigh in singlets. So.
Yeah, but even then, I don't want her like getting in a singlet in front of
we used to find female staff.
We find female staff. So I think here's the thing, what I'm going to say about that. I don't necessarily think that it's like having an all-male coach is necessarily wrong on its face. I will agree with you that it probably presents like some obstacles, but like, dude, I want to be careful how I say this. Do not just make the assumption that just because it's a woman that she can't be a predator either.
Oh, you're
Does that
right.
make sense?
No, that's right.
And the other thing I will say is the best thing you can do is what I said earlier. There should never be an instance where one coach and one student is ever alone in any room ever.
Right.
And if that's the case, then you'll never have problems. Does that make sense? Or you'll have
that
really
is
big
the protocol.
problems where it's two
That
coaches,
is that was always the protocol. But in the midst of tournaments and things, these incidents do happen.
Yeah.
And
I'm with you.
most of the time, it's no big deal. It's like
the last thing I'll say about all this too is it goes back to what I was saying about people stepping up. I'll give you an example. I want to be careful how I say this. We were at state 2 years ago and we only had one girl qualify. So what we did is we brought another girl with us to like help her warm up, stay in the hotel with her so that if we ever walked into the hotel room, it was never just us alone with the one girl, you know what I mean? So we brought in another girl and we called her the manager and she was, for all intents and purposes, basically there as like a +1, you know what I mean? Well, she was down on the floor like warming up with this girl and I guess she didn't know that she would have to like bring some workout clothes. So she was in some booty shorts, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And at first I was like, these are kind of short, but whatever, you know what I mean? As she was wrestling, they were riding up, and I started noticing male coaches looking at it.
Yeah.
So then I had to tell her, and this was like awkward because she doesn't have like a father in the house, you know what I mean? Like single family with a mom. And I was like, hey, I need you to go put on some long pants. And she's like, why? I go, how do I tell a 16-year-old girl that a bunch of grown men are staring at your ass?
I've been in very similar situations.
So I just told her, I go, this is where I do the opposite of like my daughter. I go, because I said, I need you to go up there and put pants on. I was like, if you want to talk to your mom, like about why I'm doing this, feel free to text her, call her, like be as transparent as you want. Hey, Coach Z told me I had to go put on pants warming up. And if your mom wants to have words with me, I'll talk to your mom. Her mom was like, texted me like, thank you. That's the other thing I do. I'm extremely open in a way with the girls that I'm not with the boys, with the family. All the girls on our team, their parents have my number.
No, yeah.
And I tell them, I'm like, if you ever have anything, text me. Text me.
Comes right into our popular culture of all the jiu-jitsu accusations of female students and all that. Did you see the new Craig Jones thing that just came out?
No, I don't. Here's the thing I'm going to say about all that too is it's a little different. Are we talking about like underage girls or are we talking about just girls in the gym?
There's both.
Okay, if it's underage girls, I'm here for protecting them. But once a girl hits a certain age, she's an adult.
Yeah. And
if you're in an adult environment and you want to engage in activities with a man who's also an adult and you're consenting adults, what
am I supposed to do? Say there's two people that you can see they're getting along pretty well. They're adults. This is a social club the same as anything else.
By the way, if they're adults, is that a bad thing?
I don't think so.
A guy can
Sounds
meet his wife,
mutual interest.
or she might meet her husband. Like we don't fucking know. Or maybe they don't become married, but maybe they just have some fun for a couple of years. Who are you to decide?
Yeah.
Now, if they're underaged, different story. But if they're adults, dude, I'd turn my blinders on. Whatever. It
brings me to another topic. Social media pages ran by parents. You're a parent. I'm curious. Say your daughter likes jiu-jitsu a lot, and she gets 8, 9. And
My daughter will not have social media until she's 18.
but you see, like, parents
I know. I will not allow my daughter, because here's the thing.
even one that you run.
What
maybe?
has social media turned into from like 5 years ago to today?
I feel like it's a lot of advertising, like of
Yeah, but it's also a lot of like the fundamentals of social media has changed in the sense of like, because of the proliferation of OnlyFans and all this other stuff, it's highly sexual. Everything is like highly sexual now.
yeah, that. You're not. You probably don't follow too much of like the jiu-jitsu culture.
I don't.
So recently, this is a hot topic. I feel like I'm breaking ground here. Show Your Roll advertised a rash guard.
Okay.
The model in the picture was not wearing a sports bra underneath. You could see the outlines of her nipples, and female all over the place.
Adult?
She's an adult.
Okay.
And in the
little
photo,
sex sells, okay.
little sex sells, and female athletes started getting upset, saying how you're sexualizing the sport. She should clearly be wearing a sports bra.
If a man sexualizes a woman, it's predatory. But if a woman sexualizes herself, it's good business.
But this is a brand. Do we know it's a man that sexualizes?
Might be another woman.
All right.
What do you care? It's a business transaction. Don't buy it or buy it. What do you care, women?
So like I saw what they were saying, that this is sexualizing the female sport, and a lot of female athletes. There's a strong movement to not sexualizing jiu-jitsu for female. Like they're like the advertisement of products. They say the camera is focused on her chest, and that it should be about advertising the apparel. But I'm like, sex sells every product. Like you can buy a car with a good look. I don't know. But
I know like 5 different BJJ girls that also have OnlyFans, and they hypersexualize themselves. And I see these women on there talking about empowering themselves and all this other fucking shit.
Also,
this is what I'm trying to say.
yeah.
If a brand does it, it's predatory. You're sexualizing. But if a girl does it to herself, suddenly we're empowering people. They're a businesswoman, an entrepreneur.
Free the nip.
It's the same fucking shit.
Yeah.
The truth of the matter is these girls are probably fugly, and they're just mad that this other girl had this opportunity, or that they don't look like that girl in that rash guard.
You just
It's the same shit that men do against like these like there's like a growing movement of like fucking pseudo I want to be careful how I say this, men, forgive me guys, but like, you know, subpar physically looking men getting offended at like men that essentially sell themselves in very
Toxic
similar
masculinity.
ways to how attractive women sell themselves. And it's like, dude, I don't care who you are. If you're a man, you want to have 6-pack abs, you want to be 6 feet tall, you want to look like an Adonis motherfucker. And I don't care what woman is. Like, they want big tits, fat. They want to be attracted or attractive to the opposite sex. And you cannot be angry at people that are hotter than you that get all these opportunities. And if you feel like your sport is being sexualized by your gender, then I want to see the same fervency in which you go after these companies with these OnlyFans models. Because you can't fucking tell me for the last 5 years we've been empowering women, and then when a woman does something that I would argue is actually less risque than OnlyFans stuff, suddenly this is bad.
Yeah.
You can't have your cake and eat it too, bitches. Like we gotta.
This is a funny story. So I kind of
Sorry for my language, but like this kind of stuff is like so like it's stupid. It's just like honestly like illogical stupidity.
You want a reason to be upset, but I asked if you.
No, they're sour grapes because they don't look like that girl because they're not as hot as that girl, and they want to say that that's wrong. It's okay, dude. I'm a 5 out of 10. It's all good, baby. I can wear a 3-piece suit. And I look great.
Yeah, I was talking to a female, like, what is your outlook like this? And she's like, they're insecure. She goes, I stopped wearing Victoria's Secret lingerie when they stopped putting plus size models on there. She's like, when I put it on, I kind of pretend like I was that model. Yeah. And now that they use plus size models, I don't feel like that no more. I was like, I kind of get where you're going with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a hot topic.
I'm sorry you're not hot.
Yeah.
I want to see the rash guard sales for that. I would love to be that company and see like did that pan out for sure.
I was looking at, it's like their most recent thing. If you get it up on social media, is
no, I'm saying
got more
like,
likes than.
But you wouldn't know their numbers, right? Like the numbers of sales. But the truth of the matter is, sex sells.
Absolutely.
There's a reason.
Like, look at all products that are, especially apparel. Like, look, if we go to some brand, they're most of the time attractive models. Every now and then they throw in.
It's not even that. My number 1 episode was with a porn star, and I know it's for a reason.
Yeah.
I'll show you the analytics after this. It's not even close. And by the way, my other episodes that I've done the best on this podcast, and we don't hypersexualize anybody, right?
If you want to hypersexualize me on this podcast, you can.
I'm going to Photoshop Fabio's body on you. Just like
blur
giant
out down to my
you know
knee.
that meme with like the giant black it'll be your face. And your mouth will move like the South Park Canadians.
Yeah, why? But so your most viewed was
Females. Like
Females
of our top 10 episodes.
Why do you think? Do you think they're just curious about her life?
I know what it is. So these women do things where they attract men. So like Aurelian used to be a streamer, right? Like on Twitch, and she would have like a lot of men following her. Karma obviously was an ex-porn star, so like there's all the connotations there. Whitney McAllister, because she did OnlyFans, there's a connotation there. These men want access to these women in a different way. More emotional. They want to know more about them. They want to feel closer to them. I know what it is.
It's like you talk to girls who have danced.
I can even look at the analytics of like YouTube's crazy, dude. You can even look at the analytics of like where viewership peaks and stuff like that. So then I can see like, okay, where did we peak at? Wow, well, there was like a big interest in this. And then you go to that, you see what they were talking about. It's usually about like their sex life or like their romantic partner or something like that. It's like, this is what these guys are interested in. And guess what? We make money off of it.
Yeah, well, it's like a taboo thing too. This person, I think for some people, so like her lifestyle, she does this, and it's like taboo. Like, what is her real life like? Like, she does this thing that's out of the ordinary.
Understood.
How does she kind of adjust to society?
Yeah, like the OnlyFans model versus the U.S. citizen kind of thing.
Yeah, like how's her life that much different?
All I'm saying is, for the last 4 years, we've had to talk about how sex work is real work and how we have to like support these women and all these other things, right?
Yeah. The world's oldest.
Forgive me if I'm listening to what you said.
I think prostitution should be legal and taxed and safe. It's gonna happen.
I've also never seen a hot girl bitch about this shit, and I've never seen like a 6-foot guy with 6-pack abs be like, all they want me for is my chest. You know what I mean? This is exclusively a problem to the fugly.
But so with jiu-jitsu, God, I don't know if I should say this.
Go ahead.
So. This could be wrong.
Listen, we're at 2 hours and 21 minutes. If they're still listening, they're on board.
Okay, sweet. So there is a strong LGBTQ community in female jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
It's a very physical sport, and I think a lot of people in that community do physical things. If that's a sex, I don't know, whatever it is. I just think proportionally there's a lot more lesbian and bisexual women that compete in physical sports than...
Let me hit you with this. How many closeted gay men do jiu-jitsu?
Probably a fucking lot.
Probably a fucking lot.
That's
probably.
Have you ever heard that? It's like if one man can hold it.
Yeah, if one man can hold. That's
why I train extra hard.
I love the memes are like, my buddy's training so that no one can hold him down. I'm training twice as hard so I can.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, one man can hold you down, two can fuck you.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot. And I remember a few years ago, there was a guy who's like a purple belt, and I knew that he was like coming out of his game. Like, no one cares anymore. You missed the cool window. Well, you missed the cool factor a few years ago.
Here's what I'm gonna say: no one cares until you make it weird. Like, I'll have no problem rolling with anyone.
One of my students is a gay male, and I'm friends with him.
Fine with me.
And he makes gay jokes. He calls me faggot. And he says all the
If you're gonna check my oil, just make sure you ask for consent.
That's
before.
like the words. Like, I just used the said faggot, but it's just like. And with all words, I think like when you start protecting them, you give them that secret power.
Agreed.
So I'm just like, why are we making this word like this horrible thing? It's like Voldemort, right?
Here's why that's difficult though, because then it creates this like vernacular use. So like if you say like hard R, you know what I mean, or if you say fat, people will start asking if you use that in your regular lexicon. Yeah. So like that's the problem with that argument, is because like I think that the argument of like giving words power does have merit, but then it's like I don't use that word in my daily language. So like I never run into the instance where I would have to like unpower a word to use it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Unless I'm online.
I have some weird I had a conversation with a guy about the use of the word, right? And he did make some good points to me. I was like, dude, it's
about what, hard R or fag?
And I was like, if you're using it in a context of joke and like I'm making the joke with you, and it's purely a word. I don't have bad intentions. And he's like,
that's not how that works though, because you cannot correlate with like what somebody intended for that word to mean. It is either powerful or not.
Right.
It's either a bad word or it's not.
Yeah.
Fuck. I fucking love you. I want to fucking kill you. The same word, different connotations, but we say what? That fuck is a bad word, right? So that's how it has to be. Is like, if you don't want me to use this word, stop singing about it, stop calling each other it, stop empowering it yourselves, because then I feel like it's acceptable. Now, once again, it's not a word that I use in my lexicon, so it's not like I'm coming up, but like, I have a bunch of black friends where we joke around, and guess what? It'll get dropped. But now with them, it's a different because of the connotation and everything in my relationship with them. Yeah. But the fact that we even have to have that interaction is like what makes it weird. Does that make sense? It's like, you do not get to decide what I meant with that word. I will tell you through the use of that word what I meant from that. I can't say it in like a loving way. I don't know why I would say that in a loving way, but you know what I mean? Like the word fuck or whatever, you know what I mean? And then you derive from that disrespect. Yeah. Well, that's a miscommunication, and you have to treat it as such. But it's also weird because, like, I just think it's like low IQ, like divisive, dumb bullshit. I don't use the N-word not because someone tells me like I can't use it, because once again it goes back to my earlier conversation of, if you tell me I can't use a word, I'm gonna fucking use the word just to spite you. But I don't use it because I don't want to hurt anybody. It's the same way if like a transgender wants to be called a girl or a boy, okay, I'll do that. Don't tell me, ask me, and I'll do it.
So I was having I used the word. I'm like, so I don't have to beat around the word. I'm just going to use it. And then he said, hey, can you please never just use it again? I go, man, even though I feel different, if you're that,
yeah, if it offends
I'm not going
to. I'm not rude.
I mean, but I was trying to make like a point of view of how I view the word, and I'm not meaning anything by it. But if it's that like that with you, I won't.
And that's why it'll always become a problem, because then like at some point someone has to be the lower man to continue. Like if you tell me like words shouldn't have power, Arion, I agree with you. But then someone tells me, hey, that word hurts my feelings.
Yeah, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings.
Should words not have power? Yes. But does that word hurt his feelings? Okay, well then am I the asshole if I continue to do it? Yes, the answer to that question is yes.
You feel differently and it hurts your feelings, I won't say
I think it shouldn't get this universal like pass though. Like you don't get to say that it hurts your feeling when a white person says it, because that's inherently racist.
Yeah.
Just like you shouldn't get offended if a straight person calls you the fat F word, whatever. You know what I mean? I'm trying to be like as sensitive as I can about this. My thing is about consistency. When you are inconsistent in your argument, I will be inconsistent in my appreciation for that argument.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
But I mean, I thought
that being said, I also don't care. You know what I mean? If I see someone, I'm not going to call them that. And if I see a black person, I'm not going to call them that, because like, it's not even in my lexicon. Does that make sense? Like I don't even, but when it's around me, if I'm singing a song or any of these other things, don't get offended.
Same thing with like retarded. That's
very retardation is technically a medical term.
Yeah. And it's funny. Like most of the time you can use it in a funny sense, but like if you use it as a hurtful
that's
way,
gonna be the clip.
but it's like if you use it in a hurtful way, it can be used hurtful. But
any word can be used as hurtful.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like think about it. Like if someone doesn't think you're a black belt, they could use the word black belt. Kirk Huff, the black belt.
I'm sure people feel like that.
Same thing, but what I'm trying to say is the same thing, but it can be derived as like a negative. Or I can say Kirk Huff, the black belt. Same fucking phrase, same words. It's the connotation, it's the nuance behind it, it's the nonverbals, it's everything else. So that's why I'm saying it's okay to sing in a song, but I can't, a white Southern man can't tell a black Southern man that with the hard R, because we know the connotation. There are nuances to this. So that's why I'm saying it cannot be this blanket statement. Now, it goes back to my thing of like, I know that on average they don't like it when you say that, and I don't want to be a rude person, so I won't say that. But with my friends, I got the N pass.
Dude,
yeah,
you got the card.
Thanks, Tavon. He gave me a card. It's in my wallet somewhere.
Nice,
dude. This was fun.
Yep.
I did not think. if you would have told me this podcast would have started with like a transgender talk and would have ended with a retardation talk.
No. Hopefully
165. This will be 165 episodes. It's been a good run, gentlemen. It's been a good run. Before we call it, man, anything you want to like plug, anything you got going on, anyone you want to shout out, the floor is yours.
No.
Thank you, Todd Fox, for sending him
the steamer. I actually didn't use it, but I do have it. I have used
it. You look good. You look great.
I have used the steamer before, but I did not.
Does it work?
Yeah, it works.
Shout out Todd Fox.
That's all I got.
Brother, thank you so much for being
No
on.
problem. I've been holding my pee. Is there a bathroom close?
Yeah, right there.
I'm leaving that in. Did you already?
I have it in.
Yeah, but then I'm leaving that in.